Chapter 2007. We can charge a fee too, one for everyone. Zhang Duopan waved his hand. How was he supposed to split the cup? Okay, sir. Please wait a moment. The waiter said and retreated to make the cups. Let me see. Yushu snatched the cup from Zhang Duopan's hand. Wow, Shield Bro, you're so handsome in the photo. You're the most handsome out of all of us. Yushu said. Shh. Mind your image. Meng Yao said helplessly. Shu had insisted on sandwiching Lin Yi between the two of them during the photo shoot, not giving Xinyan a chance at all. Xinyan had no choice but to stand beside Yushu, and Yushu was very pleased with herself. It didn't take long for the waiter to bring the crystal cups over, one for each person, no more, no less. Zhang Duopan turned to the waiter. Waiter, can I have the bill? How much is it? Sir, you've spent 200,900 in total, so it's 200,000. The waiter said. Oh, I'll pay with my card. Zhang Duopan casually handed over a card before realizing something was wrong. Wait, why is it 200,000? Wasn't it 140,000? Zhang Duopan had estimated the price. The dishes were only around 130,000, and even with the drinks, it was around 140,000. How could it be 200,000? That's right, sir. This is your list of expenses. Please take a look. The waiter didn't look down on Zhang Duopan at all. He politely took out a list of expenses and handed it to Zhang Duopan. This is 5,000 for a crystal picture frame? Zhang Duopan's eyes went wide. There were more than 10 people in his group, and just the crystal frames alone cost 60,000. No wonder it was 200,000. Yes, sir. This crystal photo frame is made of real crystal, not glass. The waiter explained, every single one of them is worth collecting, and there's an expert certificate here. Is that so? Zhang Duopan looked at the pile of crystal cups and wanted to cry but had no tears. They were all printed with photos. He had to buy them even if he didn't want to. He could only say with a sad face, okay, I'll pay by card. However, the fees he gave Cheng Yi were not enough. There were only a few 100,000 left in the card. Zhang Duopan was thinking about what excuse he could use to ask his dad for more money. After dinner, Lin Yi drove Xinyan, He Meiyue, and Chai Shaoling back to school. He was about to head back to the villa with San Huang when he saw two people standing there in the dark parking lot. Upon closer inspection, who else could it be but Han Jingjing and Han Xiaochao? Han Jingjing? Lin Yi stopped the car and looked at Han Jingjing in surprise. Why are you two standing in the parking lot? Big brother Lin Yi, we were waiting for you to send us home. Han Jingjing said pitifully. I thought you forgot about us, but you finally remembered and came back. Ugh, you're saying that you've been waiting for me to send you home? Lin Yi's eyes were wide open. Yeah. Han Jingjing nodded. Isn't your X5M parked over there? Don't you know how to drive? Lin Yi looked at the X5M not far from the parking lot. I didn't bring my keys. I've been riding in your car for the past 2 days, and I thought the keys were a little heavy, so I didn't bring them. Han Jingjing said. You didn't bring your keys? Lin Yi was stunned by Han Jingjing's words. Then why didn't you call me? I did, but my phone was turned off. Han Jingjing said, feeling wronged. Lin Yi remembered that he'd turned off his phone when he was on stage, afraid that someone would be looking for him. He'd forgotten to turn it back on. Okay, get in the car. Lin Yi smiled bitterly. If you can't find me next time, take a taxi back, and it's not far on foot anyway. I was afraid that you would come to pick me up again, and we would be worried if you couldn't find us, Han Jingjing said. Then I won't call you? Lin Yi smiled bitterly. Okay, get in the car. Lin Yi, how could you forget about Han Jingjing for dinner? Look at how pitiful she is. She hasn't eaten yet, right? Meng Yao didn't have any bad feelings towards Han Jingjing. After a few days of interaction, she felt that this girl didn't have any ulterior motives, and was easy to get along with. It's okay, Yao sis, I'll go home and eat instant noodles, Han Jingjing said. Shield bro, why don't you make some food for them when you go home? They're so pitiful, they're always hungry. Yushu also sympathized with Han Jingjing. She actually stood in the autumn wind for an entire night. It was really pitiful. It's okay, Shu, we always eat instant noodles, we're used to it, Han Jingjing quickly said. It's already so late, it's fine. It's okay, there's ready-made food at home, I'll cook for you, it's nothing. Lin Yi was very embarrassed. Because of his mistake, Han Jingjing and Yushu stood in the parking lot for an entire night without food. It made him feel bad. Thank you, Lin Yi bro. Han Jingjing said happily. The car returned to the villa. Lin Yi got off the car, and Su Shihan also got off the car. Originally, Feng Sanhuang planned to send Chang Yi back to the hotel, but Chang Yi didn't want to go back. Shiji, why don't you help me talk to Lin Yi? Can I stay here tonight? Cheng Muyi said pitifully. Last night, after that incident, I went back to the hotel, and the moment I closed my eyes, I saw those robbers. I couldn't sleep well. I only fell asleep in the wee hours. It was too scary. I don't dare to stay by myself. It's okay, sis, if you're scared, you can stay here. Meng Yao agreed generously, because Cheng Yi was a celebrity that she liked, and she was also Su Shihan's junior. How could she not agree? But after Meng Yao finished speaking, she realized that the owner of the villa was not her anymore, it was Lin Yi. So Meng Yao looked at Lin Yi, a little embarrassed. Lin Yi, is it okay? Lin Yi understood what the miss was thinking, but he smiled. You have a part of this villa, it's as good as Songshan, you can make the decision. Meng Yao heard Lin Yi's words, she was a little touched. Thank you. It's nothing, you guys chat first. I'll cook something for Han Jingjing and Han Xiaoqiao, Lin Yi said. Han Jingjing and Han Xiaoqiao didn't seem to be fans. Han Xiaoqiao was very shy, he didn't like to talk, and Han Jingjing seemed to be engrossed in studying something. She wouldn't let go of her tablet, she wouldn't stop writing and drawing. Chapter 2008. Fortunately, the two of them got off the car and went back to the villa. They didn't talk to Su Shihan and Chang Yi. Lin Yi was surprised. Were these siblings even people of this world? They didn't like to chase after celebrities at all. Lin Yi found some food in the kitchen, making 2 dishes before sending it over to Han Jingjing. Lin Yi Gij, thank you. Han Jingjing saw that Lin Yi was here and finally put down the tablet and ran out to help Lin Yi. Do you want to come in and sit for a bit? No, you guys should rest early after eating. I'm going back. Lin Yi looked at Han Jingjing's mansion. There didn't seem to be anything new inside. It was all the furniture and appliances that came with the mansion. Han Xiaoqiao was sitting on the sofa reading a book, while Han Jingjing was probably playing with the tablet. These two were really weird, they were both nerds, but the elder sister's personality was even weirder than the younger brother's. Lin Yi took a look at Han Xiaoqiao's book. It was a textbook from a university's economics department. It was normal to read textbooks at home, but Han Jingjing was using a tablet to calculate some pill refining formula. Lin Yi couldn't believe it. Oh. Okay then. Han Jingjing nodded, a little disappointed. All right, Lin Yi, Gij, how's your alchemy going? These 2 days? I don't have time to study it yet. Lin Yi said honestly. Lin Yi was busy with the freshman party, and then he got attacked after picking up Su Shihan, and then he broke through. Lin Yi didn't even have time to practice the 4th stance of Frenzy Fist, not to mention alchemy. Please remember. Oh. I see. I wanted to discuss it with you. Han Jingjing said, then when Lin Yi Gij is done, we can discuss it together, okay? Okay. Lin Yi nodded. Han Jingjing was very happy to receive Lin Yi's reply. She happily said goodbye and went to eat with Han Xiaoqiao. Lin Yi, on the other hand, returned to his villa. In the living room, Meng Yao, Yushu, Su Shihan, and Cheng Yi were chatting excitedly. It seemed like they were talking about yesterday's events. Cheng Yi was beaming with joy and her eyes were full of admiration. As soon as Lin Yi entered the door, he heard her words. Yao Yao Shu, I really envy you. You have such a powerful bodyguard as Lin Yi living with you. If Shihan and I stopped singing, we would want to move in with you. Sure. Then move here when you guys retire from the music industry. Meng Yao smiled. We're afraid that someone might be hostile towards us if we move here. With that, Shihan smiled as she looked at Yushu. They were still making fun of Wang Xinyan just now. No, I'm just helping Shield bro. Yushu was a little embarrassed and quickly changed the topic. Shihan sis, you and sis seem to be very close? Yeah, the two of us are from the same sect, and we hit it off very well. We usually like similar things, so we're closer. Shihan nodded. Thanks to senior sister's care, otherwise I wouldn't be able to develop so well. Cheng Yi also nodded. Why don't you guys go to bed early? Tomorrow, you have to go to school or catch a plane. Can you get up? Lin Yi looked at the four people who were chatting happily. Sleep, sleep soon. Meng Yao looked at her watch and realized that it was already very late. When the freshman party ended, it was already 9 o'clock at night. After dinner, it was already 11 o'clock. And now it was 12 o'clock. If they didn't sleep now, they really wouldn't be able to get up tomorrow. So, the four of them packed up and went upstairs. Lin Yi, on the other hand, returned to his room and continued to consolidate the second stage of the art of dragon mastery. There were too many things to do these few days. Lin Yi wanted to find a chance to practice the fourth form of the Frenzy Fist. Now that Lin Yi was already at the peak of the early phase of Earth class, other than the fourth form of the Frenzy Fist, would he be able to use the fifth and sixth forms? Lin Yi was very looking forward to it. It was just that he didn't have the time to think about it. Sitting cross-legged on the bed, Lin Yi activated the second stage of the art of dragon mastery. His strength at the peak of the early phase of Earth class was basically stabilized. This time, there weren't too many accidents for Lin Yi to break through. After all, Lin Yi was about to break through. He just lacked the opportunity to break through the limit, and this opportunity happened to appear during the battle. But what made Lin Yi happy was that this opportunity came at the end of the battle, the deciding moment of victory or defeat. If it had appeared before, then Lin Yi would be in danger. With the Earth-class black-clothed man glaring at him, how could he break through in peace? Perhaps this group of people would all be finished. Thinking about it, Lin Yi felt a lingering fear. However, through this battle, Lin Yi actually discovered that he had an advantage. What he lacked in strength, he could use martial arts to make up for it. For example, he was only an early phase of Earth class, but with the unique martial arts, he didn't show any weakness when facing the black-clothed man of the mid-phase. His first form of the Frenzy Fist was actually equivalent to the second form of the black-clothed man's Ice Snow Thorn. In other words, as long as Lin Yi's stamina was full every time, he could still fight above his level. This discovery made Lin Yi both surprised and happy. He originally thought that the advantage he had when he was in the Mystic class no longer existed, but he didn't expect that through Faubert's martial arts, he had regained his initial advantage. The fourth form of the Frenzy Fist was already enough to completely crush a mid-phase Earth class. In other words, if the opponent was only one level lower, Lin Yi could easily crush them. As long as he used the fourth form of the Frenzy Fist from the start, the opponent wouldn't be able to handle it. However, what would it be like facing a peak mid-phase Earth class now? He hoped that he could use the fifth and sixth forms of the Frenzy Fist. That way, Lin Yi would be able to fight against a peak mid-phase Earth class. Actually, what Lin Yi didn't know was that he could now fight above his level because of the Frenzy Fist. Although the Frenzy Fist was considered a top-notch martial art, it also depended on the user. Lin Yi had the support martial art that he took out from the cave, which allowed him to display every form of the Frenzy Fist to the fullest. Just like the person who created this martial art, he could understand the essence of each form. But it was different for others. Although the martial art was powerful, everyone's understanding would more or less deviate. No one could be like Lin Yi, using the Frenzy Fist as if it was his own creation. The black-clothed man's Ice Snow Thorn wasn't weak either. It was just that he was too weak. His mental cultivation wasn't that great to begin with, so the martial arts effect couldn't be fully displayed. Plus, his understanding wasn't that thorough, so every form was weaker than Lin Yi's. Chapter 2009. Chapter 2022. Replacement, but there was no way to argue about this sort of thing. Lin Yi's advantage was like Zhang Naipeo's. It all came from his practitioner's speciality. His talent wasn't that great either, it was just a coincidence. Upstairs, Meng Yao and Yushu were showering together. Yao Yao, do you think that Wang Xinyan can become Shield Bro's main wife? Yushu asked. How would I know? Meng Yao shook her head. Wouldn't she bully us if she became the main wife? Yao Yao, we have to think of something. Yushu said worriedly. Then what do you think we should do? Meng Yao frowned. The problem now is that Lin Yi doesn't have Tang Yun in his heart anymore, and the reason he got together with Xiao was because he felt sorry for her, and after some time, Xiao allowed him to find other women. Lin Yi doesn't feel any guilt at all. So what can we do about it? Even if we stop him from being with Wang Xinyan, he'll still be with someone else. Plus, can we really stop him? We didn't stop Tang Yun back then, right? That. Yushu thought about it. That's true, but there's a lot of candidates. I think Han Jingjing and Shirhan Sis are good as well. Even Sis is fine. She's a star after all, and she's older than us, she could be a big sister. Han Jingjing? She doesn't have much of a mind, she's a little dumb, but Wang Xinyan's a good person too. She doesn't fight for things, she's a quiet girl. Meng Yao said. As for the two star sisters, I think we should just forget about them. Why would they share their love with someone else? We were just joking before. There's no way they'll really move in. That's true. Yushu nodded. Then we're being too paranoid? We're worrying too much. We're still in Lin Yi's hands. We're just here to help, as long as we don't let Yun down. Meng Yao felt a little conflicted as she said those words. Sometimes, Meng Yao wondered if she wanted to replace Tang Yun's position. Plus, Tang Yun's words had hinted at the same thing before they parted. But Meng Yao still felt that it'd be a little too much if she were to replace Tang Yun. It was like taking advantage of others when they were in a precarious situation. Therefore, a thin-skinned person like Eldest Miss would never do such a thing. It was a quiet night. Lin Yi had nothing to say. Miss, Shu, Su Shirhan, and Cheng Yi all had dark circles under their eyes. It was obvious that they didn't sleep well after talking all night. However, Cheng Yi's relationship with Missy and Shu was much better. What time is your flight? If there's nothing else, I won't send you off. Lin Yi said, I still have to go to school today. You don't need to send us off. Brother Feng will pick us up later. Cheng Yi said, seeing how powerful you are, those robbers probably won't dare to come again. Yeah, there hasn't been any movement for the past 2 days. Obviously, they've given up. Shirhan nodded. By the way, what happened yesterday? Lin Yi asked while eating breakfast. Yesterday, after you saw the woman in the black trench coat, your headache acted up? Yeah, I came back last night and kept talking about other topics. If Lin Yi didn't remind me, I really would have forgotten to ask. Missy nodded. Shirhan Sis, what happened yesterday? It's nothing. Actually, my headache. Lin Yi was right. It should be caused by some trauma in my childhood. Shirhan smiled bitterly. But these things I don't want to mention, and I haven't told anyone. So what happened yesterday should be a coincidence. Lin Yi nodded. He had checked Shirhan's headache before, and he knew that Shirhan wasn't sick. It was a psychological problem that caused symptoms similar to neurosis. But even Lin Yi didn't know the specific reason, so how could outsiders know? Yeah, I was also very puzzled about what happened yesterday. Even I, as Sister Han's best friend, only knew that Sister Han had some trauma in her childhood that would cause headaches, but I didn't know it was because of a woman in black. Cheng Yi nodded. It seems that what happened yesterday was really a coincidence. Although Lin Yi felt that what happened yesterday shouldn't be a coincidence, after all, the appearance of the woman in black was too sudden, and it happened to appear during Shirhan's performance. Not only that, but the most important thing was that this person was an actress. Until the end of the freshman party, he didn't see her wearing this kind of costume again. So this made Lin Yi feel very strange. It seemed that this person just wanted to appear at that time. However, Shirhan also said that it was a trauma in her childhood. It was a secret. She didn't even tell Cheng Yi about it. Cheng Yi only knew the general situation, and Lin Yi as a doctor also didn't know. How did that Zhang Duopan know about it? However, this matter could only be a mystery, and Lin Yi didn't want to delve into it. After breakfast, Feng Sanhuang drove the MPV over, bringing Su Shirhan and Cheng Yi to the airport. The matter here had also come to an end. Han Jingjing and Han Xiaoqiao were waiting at the door early in the morning. It was probably because of what happened last night, and they were afraid that Lin Yi would forget about them again. You guys don't need to wait like this. When it's time to leave, I will call you guys. Lin Yi looked at the pitiful siblings and felt a little embarrassed. Who would have thought that they were actually rich people who lived in a villa and drove a BMW? People who didn't know even thought that these two couldn't afford to take the public bus, so they waited here. In fact, Lin Yi was also very strange. However, with Han Jingjing's IQ, Lin Yi didn't want to ask anymore. If he didn't get the answer after asking again and again, when the time comes, it would attract Han Jingjing's question, and that would be looking for trouble. Fastest text update, no ads // in the school. After Lin Yi said goodbye to Miss and the others, he walked towards the direction of the biology department with Han Jingjing. Han Jingjing, on the other hand, was still playing with her tablet as if she was addicted to it. It was fine walking on the main road, but when she walked on the small road, she accidentally stepped on the edge of the manhole cover. As a result, her body moved forward, and she was about to fall down. Ah! Han Jingjing subconsciously let out a scream. Lin Yi was a little speechless, but he couldn't let Han Jingjing fall down like that. Let's not talk about whether the tablet would break or not. Even Han Jingjing herself would fall hard enough. Target equals _blank. Chapter 2010. Chapter 2023. Notes 2. Therefore, Lin Yi hurriedly held onto Han Jingjing, and Han Jingjing fell into Lin Yi's arms. From an outsider's perspective, it looked like the two of them were hugging. SK, you haven't even settled one, and now you're dealing with another. Aren't you tired, Huang? A sour voice sounded behind Lin Yi. Lin Yi turned around and found that it was Yu Coiling Tiger. What does it have to do with you? Second young master Yu, don't tell me your skin is itchy and you want to get beaten up again? Lin Yi looked at Yu Coiling Tiger coldly. Yu Coiling Tiger actually took a fancy to Han Jingjing and wanted to chase after her to have some fun. He didn't expect that Lin Yi would beat him to it, so he was naturally unhappy. Therefore, when they met here, he said such a sentence in a lukewarm tone. Lin Yi, in Boss Bai's class, you don't have to threaten me. Who's afraid of who? If you want to be expelled, then beat me up. Yu Coiling Tiger looked at Lin Yi with disdain, as if a dead pig wasn't afraid of boiling water. What happened in Boss Bai's class? Lin Yi frowned slightly. Maybe there was something he didn't know. You don't know? Yu Coiling Tiger was also stunned, but he quickly explained, studying here, no matter which family or sect you come from, you have to coil up if you're a dragon, and you have to lie down if you're a tiger. If you make a fuss here, then you'll be expelled. After saying that, Yu Coiling Tiger looked at Lin Yi proudly, meaning that you don't dare to do anything to me this time, right? Although I can't beat you, I can make you sick. Oh, so that's why you're called Yu Coiling Tiger. Han Jingjing nodded and said, what does this have to do with my name? Yu Coiling Tiger's face darkened, and said, I'm just reminding you not to violate the rules. Don't think that you have any privileges because you're an alchemist. Who isn't an alchemist? You have to listen to Boss Bai here. Ah, Big Brother Lin Yi. Why did he say that you are an alchemist? Are you an alchemist? Han Jingjing looked at Lin Yi in surprise and asked. Of course he's an alchemist, and he's very powerful. If you want to learn alchemy, you can ask him and let him teach you. Right Pon, who didn't mind causing some trouble for Lin Yi. Big Brother Lin Yi. Then why did you say that you don't know alchemy? Han Jingjing looked at Lin Yi strangely. Since Right Coiling Tiger is so enthusiastic, then you can teach her alchemy. With that, Lin Yi pointed at Right Coiling Tiger and said, he is an alchemist, you can ask him. Ah, Right Coiling Tiger. Can you teach me alchemy? Han Jingjing turned her head and looked at Right Coiling Tiger. Right Coiling Tiger originally wanted to explore Lin Yi's background to see if he was an alchemist and how powerful he was. That was why he asked Han Jingjing to ask Lin Yi, but he didn't expect that he would shoot himself in the foot. Haha, our Yu family's alchemy can only be passed on to the people of the Yu family. It can't be passed on casually. Right Coiling Tiger said with a laugh. On the other hand, Lin Yi, you seem to be a rogue cultivator. You don't have so many rules, right? Quickly teach her your alchemy skills. If you want to pick up others, you have to pay a little price. Before Right Coiling Tiger saw Lin Yi by a broken medicine cauldron, he began to doubt whether Lin Yi knew alchemy or not. Which alchemist would buy that kind of trash? At this moment, he also wanted to see if Lin Yi knew alchemy. I don't know alchemy, said Lin Yi faintly. Right Coiling Tiger didn't expect Lin Yi to answer so straightforwardly. This made him even more puzzled. Did Lin Yi know alchemy or not? Yeah, Lin Yi bro doesn't know how to concoct elixirs in the first place, and we've been studying it. Yu Panhu, teach us if you know how to concoct elixirs. We're all classmates, don't hide anything. Han Jingjing said. Ahem. I have something to do. I'll leave first. Right Coiling Tiger didn't dare to speak casually. Although a lot of alchemists' information was public, the Yu family's control of alchemy fire came from the Heavenly Elixir sect. It was improved. Right Coiling Tiger was afraid that he would make mistakes if he said too much, so he left first. Brother Lin Yi, why is he like this? He has good things but he doesn't share them with others. He's really bad. Han Jingjing looked at the back of right coiling tiger and said unhappily. Do you really want to learn alchemy? Lin Yi looked at Han Jingjing and felt more and more incredulous. Previously, Lin Yi thought that she was curious and would lose interest after a few days. But now it seemed that this wasn't the case. Now, Han Jingjing couldn't use alchemy. She's simply possessed. Her analysis and research on alchemy have become formulaic. Don't use the word interested to describe her. Brother Lin Yi, why do you ask? Han Jingjing said, I have been studying alchemy. How can this be fake? Lin Yi nodded. He could see that Han Jingjing seemed to have a special fondness for alchemy. Have you been in contact with alchemy before? Why do you want to learn alchemy? Actually, I got an alchemist's notes, so I started to study alchemy. Han Jingjing said with some embarrassment, I'm sorry, Brother Lin Yi. I didn't know you very well before, so I didn't dare to tell you. I was afraid that you would take away my notes, but now, I found out that you are a good person, so I won't hide it from you. Alchemist's notes? Lin Yi was shocked. You actually have such a thing? Where did you get it? The antique market. Han Jingjing said, but I have already scanned it into a picture and put it on the tablet. I will show it to you. Okay. Lin Yi didn't expect Han Jingjing to actually buy the alchemist's notes. This kind of thing could actually be bought, which made Lin Yi feel a little incredible. Han Jingjing quickly found the scanned version of the alchemist's notes on the tablet, then handed it to Lin Yi and said, Brother Lin Yi, it's here. Take a look. You can study it with me. Lin Yi took the tablet and looked at it carefully in his hand. Although this Han Jingjing looked silly, she didn't seem to be very stupid. At least before, she wasn't familiar with him, so she didn't tell him about the alchemist's notes. Now, as the relationship between the two became better, Han Jingjing took out the notes. However, what made Lin Yi feel strange was that there were only some records of the temperature control skills of the alchemy fire during alchemy and the pharmacological reactions between various medicinal materials. In other words, there was no mention of how to condense the alchemy fire from beginning to end. There were only these technical things. What are those things you wrote on the tablet? Lin Yi asked. Lin Yi had always been curious. Yesterday, Han Jingjing said that it was scientific alchemy, but he didn't quite understand what she meant. He didn't know what those formulas represented. Chapter 2011. Chapter 2024. Being followed again, there's the temperature and fire control for all sorts of pills, as well as the changes of the ingredients in the cauldron at all times. But the senses, spirit, sixth sense, and whatnot are all too fantastical. I don't think I can control them at all, and so I've put all these methods and techniques into precise mathematical, physical, and chemical formulae. That way, when I can condense a refinement flame, I'll be able to make pills according to the formula, and I won't have to use my hands to feel the temperature or the changes of the ingredients. Han Jingjing said. That's a really crazy idea. Lin Yi had heard from Han Jingjing before that she wanted to make a combination of modern and ancient methods, but after her detailed explanation, Lin Yi realized just how crazy her idea was. Even the ancient sects wouldn't have thought of using scientific methods like this, let alone Lin Yi. He didn't think that Han Jingjing would be so creative as to start researching this. Whether she could succeed or not, just this idea alone was more amazing than anyone else. Are you complimenting me, Lin Yi bro? Han Jingjing was pleasantly surprised, but then a little depressed. I'm actually very stupid. I've been researching this for so long, and I still haven't figured out how to condense a refinement flame. It's not even on the internet, and I can't even buy a book on it. Condensing a refinement flame. I'll help you think of something. Lin Yi said hesitantly. He didn't directly say that he had the incantation for condensing the refinement fire. That would be too fake. It would be as if he was exchanging the incantation for the refinement fire just because Han Jingjing showed him the notes. It would seem a little snobbish. And so Lin Yi decided to tell Han Jingjing about it later. That way it wouldn't be too sudden. Alright, thank you, Lin Yi bro. Han Jingjing didn't seem to suspect anything at all as she walked into the classroom with Lin Yi. Lin Yi sat next to Xinyan after entering the classroom, and Han Jingjing sat in the seat behind him obediently. She didn't fight to sit next to Lin Yi either. Brother Lin, you're here? The results of the freshmen's evening party are out. Our class won first place in the singing program. Bai Weitua said excitedly when he saw Lin Yi. The results are out so soon? Lin Yi was a little surprised. Actually, it came out last night, but it was only announced this morning. Bai Weitua said. First place. This is the first time in the history of our medical profession has won an award. Moreover, it's amazing. Heh, but if Zhang Duopan wants to go back on his word, there's nothing we can do about it, Lin Yi said. Yeah, that brat is too wicked. He was the one who invited the celebrity first, yet he still said those words. He's really bad. Bai Weitua said helplessly, but it's also good. Let he may see his face clearly and avoid contact with him in the future. Ahem, quiet down. Class is about to begin. Boss Bai knocked on the door frame of the teacher's room and strode into the classroom. The noisy classroom suddenly became quiet. Bai Weitua was so scared that he hurried back to his seat. Boss Bai was very satisfied with everyone's performance. He nodded and walked to the podium. Everyone did well in yesterday's freshman's evening party. I would like to commend you. It's been many years since our medical profession won an award in the freshman's evening party. Even the art festival and the sports meet didn't have anything to do with our class. But a miracle happened because of you. I hope this is a good start. Everyone, keep up the good work and strive to get a good ranking in other activities, so that I, Boss Bai, can be proud. Sigh, how is that possible? This time, it's because of the superstar. Yeah, without the superstar's help, our class can't do it. Quiet down, I don't think everyone is very enthusiastic. But there's one thing I forgot to tell you. You won first place in the singing program of the freshman's evening party. I'm going to reward each of you with 2 credits. In the future, if you get a good ranking in other activities, you will also be rewarded according to your ranking. If you don't want to continue asking for the reward, then forget I said anything. Boss Bai narrowed his eyes and said lightly. Of course, why not? We'll definitely win next time. That's right, under the leadership of the class monitor, we must win. 2 credits, we can graduate in advance if we have enough credits. Even the expressionless right coiling tiger was overjoyed when he heard that there was a reward of 2 credits. If he could graduate in advance from Boss Bai's hands, it would also be an honor. In the future, he would become an elder in the family. It would also leave a heavy mark on his qualifications. He was a little glad that he participated in the freshman's evening party this time. If he didn't go on stage, Boss Bai would probably leave him behind when he rewarded the credits. Okay, that's all. Now let's continue the class. In this class, we will continue to talk about the pharmacology of some common herbs. As Boss Bai spoke, he opened the textbook and began to teach. Han Jingjing, who had been writing and drawing, also put down the tablet in her hands at this moment and listened attentively to Boss Bai's lecture. The morning passed in the blink of an eye. When the class was over, Boss Bai gestured to Lin Yi and said, Lin Yi, come with me. Okay. Lin Yi nodded. He wasn't surprised. Boss Bai had said before that after the freshman's evening party, he would go to him and teach him some unexpected knowledge. Right Coiling Tiger looked at Lin Yi with some envy and jealousy. Although he didn't know why Boss Bai was looking for Lin Yi, this kind of obvious personal friendship made Right Coiling Tiger want to swap places with Lin Yi. He had been looking for opportunities to please Boss Bai, but there was no suitable one. Thinking of this, Right Coiling Tiger got up and followed Lin Yi and Boss Bai out of the classroom. Sometimes, opportunities were created by oneself, so Right Coiling Tiger planned to try his luck. Lin Yi followed Boss Bai out of the classroom and walked in the direction of the faculty building of the biology department. However, as soon as he left the teaching building, Lin Yi felt that someone was following him. This was an intuition, and it had nothing to do with the jade pendant. Because the person following him had no malicious intentions, the jade pendant didn't give any warning. Right Coiling Tiger? Lin Yi frowned and found that the person following him in the crowd was actually Right Coiling Tiger. Boss Bai, someone is following us. It's Right Coiling Tiger, said Lin Yi. Oh, Right Coiling Tiger? Boss Bai looked back and said, Don't worry about him. Oh. Since Boss Bai said that he didn't need to worry about him, Lin Yi naturally didn't do anything and followed Boss Bai into the faculty building of the biology department. Chapter 2012. Chapter 2025. He was deaf. Right Coiling Tiger followed him sneakily. Lin Yi found it funny that Tiger Right thought that nobody had noticed him. When he entered Boss Bai's office, He intentionally left the door half closed. After lingering at the door for a while, Tiger Right came over. Right Coiling Tiger was overjoyed. The door wasn't closed, and he wanted to pretend to enter by chance to join in the fun. However, Lin Yi pushed the door shut with a bang. The metal door directly hit Right Coiling Tiger's nose. Right Coiling Tiger's nose started to bleed. Right Coiling Tiger let out a shrill scream. Lily, what was that sound? White Boss also heard Tiger Yu's scream, but he didn't see him outside the door. I don't know. Maybe I caught a mouse when I closed the door, Lin Yi said. There are rats here? It seems that I have to buy some rat poison tomorrow. Don't take my medicinal materials. Boss Bai nodded and said, Boss Bai, you're looking for me? Lin Yi asked hesitantly. Hee, have a seat first. Boss Bai, however, invited Lin Yi to sit down unhurriedly. Then, he poured out some tea leaves from a small iron pot. These are the tea leaves that I grew myself. Have a taste. Well, Boss Bai, you didn't invite me here just for tea, did you? Lin Yi smiled bitterly. To tell you the truth, I don't know much about the tea ceremony, and I don't drink this stuff. My old man grows it too, but we usually use it to cook tea eggs. Pooh. Boss Bai made a cup of tea for himself and Lin Yi respectively. Picking up his own cup, he savored the fragrance of the tea. However, he was so shocked by Lin Yi's words that he spat out all the tea in his mouth. Lily, this tea is worth tens of thousands of yuan a tael in the market, and I added some other elements when I planted it, so it's worth more than tens of thousands. You're actually using it to cook tea eggs? So, don't waste it on me. Lin Yi shrugged and said, Boss Bai, let's get down to business, shall we? All right. Boss Bai put down the teacup and said, Although everyone in your class is my student, students are different. Among these students, I was going to find a talented student to teach him some special medical knowledge, but you and I are destined to meet each other, and you saved my life, so. At this point, Boss Bai paused. He squinted at Lin Yi, waiting for his answer. Boss Bai, if you have something to say, just say it. I can't guess it if you are so secretive. Lin Yi smiled bitterly. You look like you're not willing to learn? You have to know that the right coiling tiger and whatnot is something that people would rack their brains to learn, but there's no chance. Boss Bai said. At the door, the right coiling tiger was listening to the intermittent conversation between Lin Yi and Boss Bai. When he heard that Boss Bai was going to teach Lin Yi some special medical knowledge, he was very envious and secretly cursed Lin Yi for being so lucky. Why was he valued by Boss Bai? Moreover, from Lin Yi's tone, it seemed that he was not interested and didn't want to learn. The right coiling tiger almost pushed the door open and went in, yelling, if you don't want to learn, then give the opportunity to me. You won't agree even if you keep nagging. So what if I beg you to learn? However, from what Boss Bai said, it seemed that he wanted to beg Lin Yi to learn, or else why would he use him as an example? Moreover, it seemed that Boss Bai said that Lin Yi was his life savior. When did Lin Yi save his life? This series of questions made the right coiling tiger's ear stick even tighter. However, after that, there was no sound in the room, which made the right coiling tiger a little confused. Could it be that the two were secretly whispering to each other? Therefore, the right coiling tiger's ear stuck even tighter. As a result, just when he wanted to listen more carefully, there was a sudden loud noise in his ear. Boom! It almost pierced the right coiling tiger's eardrum, and he let out a scream. Oh! Lin Yi knew that Boss Bai was going to tell him something confidential, so he deliberately smiled bitterly to stall for some time. Then, he quickly kicked the iron door of the office, and tragedy struck the right coiling tiger. The right coiling tiger was shaken to the ground and covered his ears. His eyes were full of little stars, twinkling. He was so dizzy that he didn't know which way to go. Lily, why did you kick my door? Boss Bai smacked his lips. Although the door is iron, it's easy to break if you kick it like that. You know. Lin Yi walked back after kicking the door. There's a big mouse outside the door, and it always wants to eavesdrop. Huh. It's okay. It doesn't matter if he hears it. Boss Bai waved his hand. Because the things he wanted to teach Lin Yi, the right coiling tiger also knew, there was no need to hide anything. Even if the right coiling tiger heard it, it didn't matter. Of course, as for those key things, Boss Bai organized them into books, and the right coiling tiger couldn't see them even if he wanted to. It doesn't matter? Lin Yi was slightly stunned. and he was a little puzzled. Why didn't he hide it from the right coiling tiger? Could it be that the right coiling tiger and Boss Bai had a very good relationship? Hee, okay, I won't beat around the bush with you anymore. Have you ever heard of alchemy? Boss Bai's eyes suddenly narrowed. Alchemy? Lin Yi's eyes widened, and he looked at Boss Bai in disbelief. Why did he only hear alchemy these days? Han Jingjing alchemy, the right coiling tiger alchemy, and Boss Bai alchemy too. Was alchemy popular now? How is it? You don't understand the true meaning of alchemy, do you? Boss Bai said, the so-called alchemy here is not the ordinary mixing of several medicinal materials and then condensing them into pills. I know. You're talking about the alchemists who use alchemy fire to temper medicinal materials and condense them into pills, said Lin Yi. You know. Boss Bai was a little surprised after hearing Lin Yi's words. You've also heard of alchemists? Isn't the right coiling tiger an alchemist? So you said that you wouldn't hide it from him. So it's about alchemists, said Lin Yi in realization. Yes, the right coiling tiger is a first-level yellow-level alchemist, but he's already close to the second level. He's a good seedling, but I don't really like this person's character. Boss Bai nodded and said, this kid has some skills? Lin Yi frowned and was a little shocked. He didn't expect Boss Bai to praise the right coiling tiger so much. But to be honest, if the right coiling tiger was really a first-level yellow-level alchemist that was close to the second level, then even if he wasn't the head of the Yu family, it was enough for him to have a very important position in the Yu family. No wonder there were so many masters around him. But I didn't expect that you actually know about alchemists. Then, did you apply for medicine this time because you heard about it? Boss Bai looked at Lin Yi with some doubt. Chapter 2013. Chapter 2026. True identity, true identity. Then he shook his head and said, I'm afraid not. You don't even know me, and you don't even want to learn when I want to teach you alchemy. I don't think you came because of my reputation. Teach me alchemy? I want to learn. Lin Yi quickly nodded. Ahem. Can you change your face faster? Boss Bai was a bit speechless. You didn't look interested before, did you? I didn't know you were going to teach me alchemy. If you told me earlier, I wouldn't have to wait until the end of the freshman party. I would have come to learn already. Lin Yi was very excited at this moment. When Boss Bai said he would teach him alchemy, Lin Yi was so excited that he almost jumped up. For a long time, alchemy had been one of Lin Yi's biggest worries. Although it seemed that Lin Yi didn't study alchemy, in fact, it was not that Lin Yi didn't want to study alchemy, but that he couldn't. Alchemy fire could be condensed, but once the intensity and temperature of the alchemy fire were changed, the alchemy fire would be extinguished. Therefore, it was not that Lin Yi didn't want to study alchemy, but he had no way at all. He could only wait for an opportunity to learn alchemy. There was no hope from Yu Coiling Tiger, so Lin Yi had to find a new way. However, he didn't expect that sometimes, things that he couldn't find even after searching for so long could be found without any effort. This Boss Bai was actually an alchemist? Lin Yi really wanted to cry. He was so lucky that the person he saved was an alchemist, and he almost missed such a good opportunity. If he didn't accidentally apply for Donghai Industry University and accidentally become Boss Bai's student, it would be very difficult to meet Boss Bai again. I thought you were not interested in anything. You were so arrogant before, and now you are begging me, right? Boss Bai heard Lin Yi's words and felt very happy. Haha, I said you would become mine sooner or later. How about now? Yes. I was originally your student. Lin Yi smiled bitterly. Now that he was under someone else's roof, he had to lower his head. Haha, are you begging me? If you beg me, I'll teach you. Boss Bai crossed his legs and picked up the teacup in front of him. Smelling the fragrance of the tea, he sipped the tea leisurely and looked at Lin Yi with a vague smile. Well, Boss Bai, please. Lin Yi felt disgusted. This Boss Bai had a lot of bad interests. However, for Xiao, Lin Yi would even kowtow to him, not to mention begging. Moreover, since ancient times, a teacher was like a father. It was not inappropriate for Lin Yi to bow to his teacher. Why are you so quiet? I didn't hear you. You don't want to learn? Fine, you can go back. Come back when you have made up your mind. Boss Bai said. Lin Yi did not know what to say, but he still said aloud, I want to learn, Boss Bai. Please recruit me. Haha, see, I knew it. Boss Bai laughed. In that case, I'll reluctantly teach you some knowledge outside of the classroom. Thank you, Boss Bai. Lin Yi said quickly. No need to thank me, but the foundation of an alchemist must be a swordsman. Do you know what a swordsman is? Boss Bai waved his hand. His face returned to normal, and asked seriously. I know. Lin Yi nodded, but he suddenly had some doubts. When Lin Yi treated Boss Bai before, he felt that Boss Bai was not a swordsman, and his meridians were broken and blocked, which was impossible. Could it be that Boss Bai was a swordsman? But Lin Yi had never heard that a swordsman could make alchemy. Then Boss Bai. Thinking of this, Lin Yi looked at Boss Bai strangely. Boss Bai, are you a swordsman? No. Boss Bai shook his head. Huh. Then do you know alchemy? Lin Yi was a little confused by Boss Bai's straightforward answer. No. Boss Bai still shook his head. Then you. Aren't you teaching me alchemy? Lin Yi looked at Boss Bai and asked with some surprise and doubt. It's alchemy. Boss Bai said. I haven't finished yet. I am not a swordsman now, nor am I an alchemist, but I used to be one. How did this song come about? I haven't been an alchemist for many years. Lin Yi was a little speechless. This old man looked quite funny. However, he used to be an alchemist but not now, so there was no problem in teaching. Just like Faubert, although he could no longer use the frenzied fire fist, he could still guide Lin Yi to activate and practice it. What, you don't believe me? Boss Bai saw Lin Yi's disappointed eyes and stared at him. Did you see that? That coiling tiger, right, and the others are also from an alchemy family. How difficult is it for them to learn something from me? Of course not. It's just strange. You were an alchemist back then, and you looked like you were really strong. How did you get your meridians broken? Or maybe it's blocked. You look so pitiful? Lin Yi smiled bitterly. Who said that I was beaten by someone? I was possessed when I was refining alchemy, and the medicine cauldron exploded. Boss Bai glared and said, if I wasn't injured by the explosion with my alchemy ability, I wouldn't be an ordinary lecturer here. Back then, those ancient sects and ancient families begged Grandpa to ask me to refine alchemy, but I didn't pay attention to them. Lin Yi took in a cold breath after hearing Boss Bai's words. This guy used to be a top-level elixir refiner? Moreover, he seemed to be a very awesome one. No wonder Coiling Tiger right and the others didn't dare to be rash in front of him. And he even said some strange things to him in the morning. It turned out that Boss Bai was really an awesome person. How is it? Scared, right? Since you know about them, then you must know about the hidden houses, and ancient sects. Boss Bai looked at Lin Yi proudly. Got it. Lin Yi took a deep breath. Boss Bai, I didn't know that you were such a legendary person. Legendary? That's all in the past. Haha, I'm a useless person now. I can teach disciples, but I can't refine elixirs anymore. Boss Bai shook his head in self-mockery. I, Zhang can't end with my generation. So I found 2 disciples, and one of them is you. What? Zhang? Ahem. Lin Yi almost choked to death. The miracle Dr. Zhang? You've heard of his name? You come from a medical family, so it's not surprising that you know this person. Ah. Chapter 2014. Boss Bai nodded. That's right, I'm Zhang Liju's disciple, but back then, my Shifu only left behind an incomplete elixir refiner's notes, and he didn't even pass on the refiner's fire to me before he died. I only became a master elixir refiner with my talent, and it actually doesn't have much to do with being Zhang Liju's disciple. It's just that my name is a bit scary. Ugh. Lin Yi didn't understand. Your Shifu died right after he passed you a refiner's notes? Yeah, he went crazy during elixir refinery, and died from the explosion of the cauldron. But I was luckier than him, and my medical skills were better than his, so I survived. When he met me, his medical skills weren't good enough, so he died, Boss Bai said. Lin Yi was a bit speechless. Chapter 2027. Dream, but he could vaguely tell that Zhang Liju's sect didn't have many inheritances left. These elixirs were passed down from generation to generation, and Boss Bai's situation wasn't uncommon. The previous generation died, and the next generation didn't even have time to take over. As a result, Zhang Liju left behind fewer and fewer essences, and most of them had to rely on their own research. But Boss Bai's title as Zhang Liju's disciple really shocked Lin Yi. He had been Zhang Liju's disciple for many generations, and if he was Zhang Liju's disciple, wouldn't that make him Boss Bai's master? Of course, Lin Yi was just thinking about it. After all, he only got some of Zhang Liju's belongings, and he wasn't really Zhang Liju's disciple. So he didn't have any mental burden to become Boss Bai's disciple, and it was more like returning to his roots. Don't worry, as long as you don't try to cross levels and make those insane elixirs, you won't die. Boss Bai saw Lin Yi's shocked expression and thought that Lin Yi was scared, so he quickly explained, "Our elixir refinery has reached a bottleneck." Chapter 2027. Dream Ivy always wanted to make a breakthrough and refine a higher grade of elixir. I couldn't control the elixir fire as I wished, so the cauldron exploded. If you were only refining ordinary elixirs, there wouldn't be any danger. At most, you would fail, but you wouldn't be injured. Lin Yi shook his head. Boss Bai obviously misunderstood him. Moreover, why would Lin Yi be afraid of getting hurt? Even if the medicine cauldron exploded and injured Lin Yi had the space of the jade pendant. What was there to be afraid of? As long as he was not killed by the explosion, he would be able to recover as long as he was still breathing. Also, according to Boss Bai, they had been passed down from generation to generation, which meant that even if the furnace exploded during alchemy, he would not die immediately. At least, he could survive for a while and make funeral arrangements. Therefore, when Lin Yi had the time to make funeral arrangements, he had already returned to normal. "No, I'm not worried about that. I'm just shocked." Lin Yi said, "If I guessed correctly, the information you got should be good, and you became an alchemist grandmaster through your own exploration. How awesome is that?" "That's true." Boss Bai nodded and said, "Before my master died, he passed on his knowledge to two people. One is me, and the other may not be talented enough, so he disappeared after getting the secret book. However, my master was also desperate. He was dying, and he couldn't choose a successor." Lin Yi nodded. "If it weren't for Boss Bai's talent, he might really have been lost. So, I'm preparing for a rainy day and finding a successor before I die. When I die, it will be too late to find a successor." Boss Bai said, "Besides, my master had a lot of knowledge, but he didn't summarize it into a book. The alchemist's notes were organized by his master. Although it was not bad, many of his own theories were not preserved. His master's alchemy skills were actually not as good as his." Well, Lin Yi smiled bitterly. In fact, many sects were like this now. Many mental techniques and martial arts were kept secret, which resulted in a chain reaction if something happened to the person who guarded those mental techniques and martial arts. But I'm smart enough to have organized a book based on his foundation, and it's unique. As long as you thoroughly learn what I know, then there will be no problem to become a top alchemist." Boss Bai said. "Really?" Lin Yi's eyes widened, and he was very excited. Wasn't this what Lin Yi dreamed of? "Of course it's true. Why would I lie to you about this?" Boss Bai said, "Do you not believe in my teaching level, or do you not believe in your own ability?" "Speaking of ability, if you aren't made for it, then there's nothing I can do." Lin Yi's heart skipped a beat at Boss Bai's words. Not made for it? Even with Zhang Liju's notes, he couldn't learn anything from it. Could it be that he really wasn't made for it? Of course, Lin Yi didn't mention anything about Zhang Liju's notes. After all, this was a very important matter, and Lin Yi understood that he was only an Earth-class early-phase peak. All the hidden house you needed to do was move out and kill him. Even if house you didn't eavesdrop, there was no way Lin Yi would say these things right now. Even if he were to show these things to Boss Bai, he'd have to wait until he was strong enough to do so. Otherwise, it'd be just like the recipe for the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing. Too many people coveted it, and it'd even cause Guan Xian to be kidnapped. Even a normal recipe was like that, let alone Zhang Liju's refiner's notes. There were many lost recipes in there, and Lin Yi couldn't just show them to anyone. As for Boss Bai's injuries and broken meridians, while Lin Yi might have a way to heal him, Lin Yi didn't do it. After all, Boss Bai was simply too famous, so famous that even the ancient sects knew of his existence. If his meridians suddenly healed, wouldn't these people be suspicious? Plus, the damage to Boss Bai's meridians was a little strange. If Lin Yi's guess was correct, not only were his meridians broken, But there was also a lot of refinement fire poison caused by the deviation inside. For something like this, Lin Yi had no confidence in clearing it. The poison of elixir fire was different from the poison of regular true qi. Elixir fire was another form of existence transformed from true qi. Even Lin Yi himself could not control the elixir fire as he wished. How could he get rid of the elixir fire in Boss Bai's body? If he wasn't careful, the refinement fire poison might backfire on him again. That would be the real fire. Target equals _blank. Chapter 2015. So, even if Lin Yi wanted to heal Boss Bai, he had to completely grasp the art of condensing the refinement fire, and he had to have a certain level of strength himself. Otherwise, he would be courting death. After all, the meridians of Qintian and the others around Lin Yi could be healed with meridian opening pill or small rejuvenation pill. Even if people suspected it, it could be explained, and the strange phenomenon on Lin Yi's body could be explained with special arts. But if Boss Bai suddenly healed, it would be a big problem. Boss Bai was an alchemist in the first place, and he could definitely get things like meridian opening pill or small rejuvenation pill. If his injuries that he couldn't heal were healed by Lin Yi, it wouldn't be a good thing for Lin Yi right now. Generally, no one would covet mental cultivation techniques. After all, most of the time, those things couldn't be cultivated even if they were snatched away. Many ancient sects and ancient families had top-grade mental cultivation techniques, but the number of people who could cultivate them was very few. Just like the chrysanthemum-treasured law and the heaven-defying divine art, such mental cultivation techniques were top-grade existences, but not everyone could cultivate them. This was also why no one coveted Lin Yi's arts. Many people had good things, but they couldn't practice them. Just like House Sun's arts, other than those with the blood of House Sun, no one else could practice it. Lin Yi wasn't afraid that someone would steal his arts, but he was afraid that he wasn't strong enough and would be forced to help others heal. Then, Lin Yi wouldn't have to do anything else. How can you tell if I'm made for alchemists? Lin Yi asked. Let me ask you something. Are you a cultivator? You need to answer truthfully. Boss Bai asked. Yes. Lin Yi nodded without hesitation. It wasn't a secret that he was a cultivator, and many people knew about it. What's your strength? Boss Bai continued to ask. Earth class. Lin Yi only vaguely described his range of strength, but he didn't specify every rank. After all, Tiger Right was at the door, and Lin Yi didn't want him to know his details. Earth class. When Boss Bai heard that Lin Yi was a cultivator, he didn't have the slightest doubt, but when he heard that Lin Yi was an Earth rank master, he showed a shocked expression for the first time. You are an Earth rank master? Yes. Lin Yi nodded. Is there anything wrong? Are you sure that you are not a disciple of a hidden family or an ancient sect? Boss Bai looked at Lin Yi weirdly. No. Lin Yi said, I'm a loose cultivator. An unaffiliated cultivator can reach the Earth rank? Boss Bai shook his head. You are really special. Since I'm a cultivator, I don't need to cultivate the alchemist's auxiliary mental cultivation method. I can just try to condense the alchemy fire. Boss Bai said, this is a book on the refinement of fire. As for the supplementary training methods, you can skip over them. There's no need to read them. You gave it to me just like that? Lin Yi's hands trembled a little. He didn't expect Boss Bai to be so generous and give him such an important thing directly, which surprised him. Yes, you can give it back to me if you don't want it. Boss Bai said. It's not that I don't want it, it's that. You are not afraid that I will leak it? Lin Yi felt it was a little unreal. You mean these things? Boss Bai pointed at the information in Lin Yi's hands and said, if you want to leak it, that's up to you. But I guess that even if you show it to Coiling Tiger Right, he won't read it. This is the common mental cultivation method and refinement of fire for alchemy masters. There's nothing special about it. It's a rare thing in the secular world, but I'm afraid that all the hidden families with a little bit of connections will have it. Even the ordinary library of the ancient sects and ancient families have it. This thing is from a street stall? Didn't you conclude it yourself? Lin Yi didn't know what to say about Boss Bai's statement. This isn't my conclusion. I already said that before my master died, he didn't pass on the refinement of fire to me. What he gave me was only some alchemy experience, and it was not complete. Boss Bai said, this can also be said to be from a street stall. Even if it's not, it won't be kept a secret. No way. Lin Yi looked at the deputy main mental cultivation method and refinement of fire in his hands. He was excited for a long time, but it turned out that this thing was so ordinary. Actually, the Yu family's condensing mental cultivation method is also improved on this basis. It should be much better than this. The auxiliary mental cultivation method and the alchemy fire condensing mental cultivation method that Yu Coiling Tiger cultivates are unique to the Yu family, Boss Bai said. Then why did Coiling Tiger right come to you? Lin Yi asked curiously. He didn't come here to learn these, but the methods of refining various elixirs that I summarized, some skills of alchemy fire control, and some knowledge of pharmacological properties. Boss Bai said. Doesn't that mean that Coiling Tiger right doesn't even want to learn? You want me to learn? Lin Yi looked at the information in his hands with a bitter smile and said, Don't you have any good secret manuals? No. Boss Bai sighed. Actually, these mental cultivation methods, as long as they are cultivated, it's all the same. It's just a matter of personal habit. The ultimate goal is to transform one's true qi into alchemy fire through a section of the mental cultivation method. The purpose is the same, so I'm familiar with this refinement of fire, and I don't bother to learn other mental cultivation methods. Then haven't you thought about your disciple? Lin Yi asked speechlessly. At that time I was young and impetuous. How could I consider so much? At that time, if I wanted to, it wouldn't be a problem for me to use high-level elixirs to exchange for some of the alchemist's mental cultivation methods and refinement fire condensing mental cultivation methods from the heavenly elixir sect, but I didn't think it was meaningful and useful at that time. Boss Bai shook his head and sighed. Now, I'm afraid they won't give it to me even if I want it, unless I exchange it with my life's experience, but I'm not willing to. So that's how it is. Lin Yi nodded. Looking at the information in his hands, his heart was cold, and he wanted to cry but no tears came out. If the mental cultivation methods and refinement fire condensing mental cultivation methods were the most basic stuff on the street, then it might not even be as good as the one he got from Zhang Liju's tomb. The one in Zhang Liju's tomb had already made Lin Yi back off, and this probably wouldn't be any better, right? Thinking of this, Lin Yi suddenly felt a little discouraged. All right, go back and try the refinement fire condensing mental cultivation method written here. If you have any problems, come to me any time. Boss Bai said. I haven't had lunch yet. Hurry up and go eat. I'm going to sleep too. I still have a question. Lin Yi said after some hesitation. Target equals _blank. Chapter 2016. What's the problem? Boss Bai asked. Bai Wei Kai and Bai Wei Tua, can't they become alchemists? Why don't you teach them alchemy? Lin Yi asked. Their aptitude is too poor. They can't even practice auxiliary mental cultivation methods, let alone condense alchemy fire. Boss Bai shook his head. Do you think it's so easy to become an alchemist? The prerequisite is that one must be a cultivator in order to become an alchemist. If one isn't even a cultivator, alchemy is just wishful thinking. I see. Boss Bai's words made Lin Yi's heart sink. Bai Wei Kai and Bai Wei Tua couldn't do it, and Lin Yi wasn't a person with extraordinary aptitude. Although he was called a genius by many people, Lin Yi knew himself best. If it weren't for the fact that he could practice the art of dragon mastery, he would just be an ordinary person. Right Coiling Tiger had been lingering in front of Boss Bai's office and didn't leave. However, after being shocked by Lin Yi, he didn't dare to put his ear too close to the door. He was afraid that Lin Yi would perforate his eardrum again. That would be a tragedy. Therefore, Right Coiling Tiger didn't hear the conversation between Lin Yi and Boss Bai clearly. He only heard that Boss Bai said that he wanted to take Lin Yi as a disciple and passed something to him. Then, he seemed to mention the Right family, but he didn't understand. Looking at the silent iron door, Right Coiling Tiger was a little regretful. If he knew this would happen, he would have put his ear on the door. At least he wouldn't have heard nothing later. Thinking of this, Right Coiling Tiger put his ear on the door again unwillingly, trying to hear some useful information. As a result, when his ear just stuck to the door, the tragedy happened again. The door made a loud dong sound. Right Coiling Tiger shivered in fear. His hair all stood up, and his ears were buzzing. His head swelled, and he saw stars. He was directly shaken to the ground. Lin Yi didn't think that Coiling Tiger was still eavesdropping. He'd only given the door a try before he left, not expecting to see Coiling Tiger sitting on the ground, dizzy from the shock as soon as he pulled the door open. Fuck Lin Yi. Did you fucking do it on purpose? When Right Coiling Tiger saw Lin Yi, he immediately gritted his teeth in anger. On purpose? What do you mean? Lin Yi found it a little funny, but he didn't show it on his face. Why did you kick the door for no reason? Right Ponhu said angrily. I kicked the door. It doesn't seem to have anything to do with you, right? Lin Yi asked curiously. Could it be that you were eavesdropping just now? Who was eavesdropping? I just wanted to knock on the door. I have something to discuss with Boss Bai. Ponhu, you naturally wouldn't admit that he wanted to eavesdrop. Oh, I just accidentally tripped and kicked the door. I'm sorry, said Lin Yi. You're lying. You clearly kicked the door just now. Right Coiling Tiger was in a hurry and actually spilled the beans. You kicked the door twice in a row. It was obviously intentional. Just now? How did you know just now? Could it be that you have been eavesdropping at the door? Lin Yi looked at Right Coiling Tiger with a faint smile. Right Coiling Tiger then realized that he had spilled the beans. He was a little embarrassed, but fortunately, this guy was thick-skinned. What eavesdropping? I also came to find Boss Bai before, but I saw you inside, so I left first. Now I'm back to see if you left, so I can go find Boss Bai. Oh, then you go in. Boss Bai is going to take a nap. He may not have time to receive you, said Lin Yi. Then, I won't go first. Let's talk about it another day. Right Coiling Tiger estimated that Boss Bai had just passed some good things to Lin Yi today. He definitely wouldn't be in the mood to give him any more benefits. It was better to come again at another time. Moreover, he also wanted to know what the thing in Lin Yi's hand was. Up to you. Lin Yi sneered, but he was too lazy to expose him again. By the way, Lin Yi, what is that thing in your hand? Did Boss Bai give it to you? Right Coiling Tiger pointed at the information in Lin Yi's hand and asked curiously. What are you doing? Lin Yi suddenly withdrew his hand and put the information behind him. He looked at Right Coiling Tiger with a vigilant look. Student Lin, what are you doing? Aren't you too nervous? I was just asking casually. Do you have to be like this? Right Coiling Tiger saw Lin Yi's actions and was even more certain that Lin Yi was holding some good information that Boss Bai had passed to Lin Yi. So he said, could it be some good treasure? It's just some information that Boss Bai gave me. It's not a good treasure, said Lin Yi lightly. Oh, since it's not a good treasure, how about letting me see it? Right Coiling Tiger asked. No way. Lin Yi directly rejected Right Coiling Tiger's proposal. Boss Bai said that you probably don't want to see this thing. Your Yu family has a deep foundation. You won't be interested in this. Haha, how can that be? Boss Bai's prestige is quite high, and his ability is also. Tiske. So, to be able to see the information that Boss Bai gave me is a great honor. Right Coiling Tiger wasn't trying to flatter Lin Yi. He was speaking from the bottom of his heart. If he didn't really want to learn from Boss Bai, why would he apply for the biology department of Donghai Industry University and become an ordinary student? If he had the time to make elixirs or have fun, it would be great. Oh, that's still not possible. Lin Yi said firmly. If I say no, then no. There's no room for negotiation? Right Coiling Tiger asked, unwilling to give up. Do you think I'm stupid? Why should I show it to you? Do you think we have a good relationship? Not only did you scold Wang Xinyan, but you also wanted to kill me in the bowling alley. Do you think I'll show it to you? Lin Yi looked at Right Coiling Tiger as if he was looking at an idiot. You don't have to talk nonsense. Hey, Lin Yi, since you've already fallen out with me, do you think that there's no one left in the Yu family? Even if you're an Earth-class late-phase peak master. So what if you can kill 3 Earth-class masters in a second? You're not a Sky-class master after all. Right Coiling Tiger heard that Lin Yi had fallen out with him and that his soft approach didn't work. Okay, you dare to steal Boss Bai's things? Your Yu family is really something. Lin Yi curled his lips. If that's the case, then just call a Sky-class master to steal it from Boss Bai. Oh right, Boss Bai isn't a practitioner right now. Just call the yellow hair or purple hair beside you and they'll be able to take care of him. There's no need for a Sky-class master. This. Right Coiling Tiger's mouth twitched twice before he realized who gave the thing to Lin Yi. Stealing Boss Bai's things, Right Coiling Tiger wouldn't dare. Chapter 2017. Just now, Right Coiling Tiger was just threatening Lin Yi, so he didn't think so much. Now that Lin Yi actually dragged Boss Bai into it, how could he snatch it? Although the information was now with Lin Yi, wasn't robbing Lin Yi the same as robbing Boss Bai? Right Coiling Tiger definitely didn't dare to do this kind of thing. Unless he didn't want to live anymore. One must know that the people of the Heavenly Elixir sect would sometimes compare some alchemy skills with Boss Bai. Right Coiling Tiger didn't have such guts. What? Are you listless? You just told me in the morning that alchemists and cultivators are all floating clouds in front of Boss Bai. Right Coiling Tiger, you still want to show off with the masters of the Right family? Lin Yi looked at Right Coiling Tiger with a sneer. Fuck, if you don't want to give it to me, then don't give it to me. I was just joking. Right Coiling Tiger waved his hand and snorted. You Lin Yi are not scared. Are you afraid of a few words? I don't believe it. Since you don't believe it, please. I don't have time to talk nonsense with you. Lin Yi said and strode away with the information. Looking at the back of Lin Yi leaving, Right Coiling Tiger was so angry that he gritted his teeth. Why are you so arrogant? What the hell? Didn't you just accidentally save Boss Bai once? You're so arrogant just because you got some good treasures. However, Right Coiling Tiger was obviously the type to say sour grapes. He looked at Boss Bai's office, hesitated, and still didn't knock on the door. Instead, he turned around and followed Lin Yi out of the faculty building of the biology department. Right Coiling Tiger was a little unwilling. He really wanted to know what the information in Lin Yi's hands was, but Lin Yi was obviously not stupid. He wouldn't let him see it for free, so Right Coiling Tiger was thinking if he could find some benefits to exchange with Lin Yi. After all, the purpose of studying here was actually to learn some knowledge from Boss Bai. Now that Lin Yi got it, it seemed worth it to pay a little price to exchange the information from Lin Yi. But, how could he move Lin Yi's heart? He hesitated and decided to discuss it with his family when he had the time. He wanted to see if there was anything he could use to trade with Lin Yi. If that didn't work, he could buy it with money. But he couldn't rob it. If this thing was not given to Lin Yi by Coiling Tiger, Right Coiling Tiger might have really robbed it, but now was definitely not. Lin Yi watched Right Coiling Tiger wander behind him and didn't pay attention to him. Before, Lin Yi deliberately didn't show the information in his hands to Right Coiling Tiger. Although the information was not important, Lin Yi wanted to deliberately annoy Right Coiling Tiger. This guy seemed to be eavesdropping, so Lin Yi didn't mind using what he said in the morning to deal with him. As long as he didn't dare to make trouble in front of Boss Bai, then Lin Yi wasn't afraid of him. Even if it was an ordinary street item, Lin Yi didn't want to show it to him on purpose. It was just that what Lin Yi didn't expect was that Right Coiling Tiger actually regarded the thing in his hands as a treasure, and was ready to exchange it with benefits or buy it with money. If Lin Yi knew about it, he might not know whether to laugh or cry at his own lucky hit. On the way back to the dorm, Lin Yi bought a boxed lunch from the cafeteria. It was already past the mealtime, but the boxed lunch was still sold until the evening. Back in the dorm, Bai Weitua saw Lin Yi and said, "Brother Lin, my grandpa is looking for you." "It's nothing, he gave me some information." "Do you want to take a look?" Lin Yi said as he waved the thing in his hand. "No, I can't play with those things." It seemed that Bai Weitua already knew what Lin Yi was holding in his hand. It seemed like he didn't know at all. It was a completely different concept from Right Coiling Tiger. "How is Zhang Duopan? He didn't give you any trouble, right?" asked Lin Yi. "Not really, but last night was really bad. The meal didn't cost much, but in the end, he bought a cup. He was screwed to death." Bai Weitua thought it was funny when he mentioned what happened last night. The funniest thing is, in front of Mei Yue, this kid was acting like a big shot. He was beaten until his teeth fell into his stomach. "Huh." Lin Yi smiled as he opened the lunchbox and quickly ate. Zhang Duopan really didn't have the mood to find trouble with Bai Weitua. He had enough troubles on his own side. After trying for a long time, he still didn't have enough money for Chang Yi's appearance fee. Zhang Duopan had no choice but to call his father, Zhang Fengfeng. "Hello. Son, how was it? Was the performance successful? Did you successfully capture your little girlfriend's heart? Did you take her to a hotel room yesterday? If she's pregnant, you must tell me. Your grandpa is waiting for you to carry on the family line." Zhang Fengfeng was a person with a strong concept of carrying on the family line. He believed that there were 3 ways to be unfilial. His father was looking forward to having a great-grandchild. So Zhang Fengfeng waited for Zhang Duopan to go to university before he started thinking about it. Otherwise, he wouldn't have helped his son and invited a celebrity just to chase a girl. Don't mention it, Dad. She invited Su Shirhan yesterday. I lost. Zhang Duopan smiled bitterly. My plan to chase a girl is going to be put on hold. What? Then don't you have to give up on that, Meiyue? Motherfucker, what the hell are you doing? Your grandpa is waiting for you to have a great-grandchild. You don't even have a girlfriend. How am I going to explain this to him? Zhang Fengfeng said angrily. Why the fuck did you make a bet? Is it good now? No, your son actually relied on his intelligence to successfully turn the situation around. The bet is actually invalid. Zhang Duopan heard his father say this, but in his heart, he secretly thought that this was a good opportunity. If he used it well, then the money would come, so he quickly told Zhang Fengfeng how he turned the situation around yesterday. Not bad. You're good. Now we're even. What do you plan to do next? Zhang Fengfeng nodded in satisfaction. Dad, I'm treating them. I spent quite a lot of money. Who knew that the hotel would scam people? They charged 5,000 yuan for a cup. I swiped my card, but I didn't even have the money to pay Chang'e. Zhang Duopan said carefully. Oh, I've settled the money for Chang'e. You don't have to worry about it. You did the right thing by treating them. Otherwise, you wouldn't have the chance to turn the situation around. Zhang Fengfeng didn't blame Zhang Duopan, but your opponent is very cunning. You have to be careful. Don't worry, Dad. I plan to invite them to the Tiger Park this weekend. I'll take the chance to get closer to Meiyue. It's the Tiger Park that Uncle Su opened in Donghai. Zhang Duopan said, Fan Ganha and I will think of a way to embarrass by Wei Tuo. Meiyue will look down on him. Target equals _blank. Chapter 2018. Oh, okay, I'll give your Uncle Su a call and tell him to get someone to work with you. But the entrance fee can't be waived. You should spend the money yourself. Old Su and someone else invested in the Tiger Park. He can't just give it to you for free. Zhang Fengfeng said. It's fine. Just work with me. Thanks, Dad. Zhang Duopan was overjoyed. Not only did this call solve all of his problems, but the trip to the Tiger Park was even more assured now. That's not the main thing. You need to get me a girlfriend and continue the family line. That's the most important thing, got it? Zhang Fengfeng said. Got it. Don't worry, Dad. I'll get it done. Zhang Duopan said with a smile. Everything was done, and Zhang Duopan's face was full of smiles. He'd walked out of the shadow of yesterday's scam. In the afternoon, Lin Yi and Bai Wei Tuo went to the biology building together. He saw Yu Coiling Tiger looking at him expectantly as he walked in. Lin Yi smiled and waved the documents in his hand. He grinned at Yu Coiling Tiger before ignoring him and sitting down next to Wang Xinyan. Fuck, what are you so cocky about? You think you're so great just because you got Boss Bai's teachings? Yu Coiling Tiger cursed, a little pissed off. Just wait until I get home and find a good treasure. You'll trade with me. Humph. Yeah, Master Yu, that Lin Yi kid hasn't seen much of the world. We're a hidden house of House Yu. Any good treasure is enough to make him drool over it. He'll trade. The yellow hair nodded. Yeah, 2 or 3 more days won't matter. The purple hair said. Lin Yi sat down, and Wang Xinyan looked up at Lin Yi. Lin Yi, I heard from Meiyue that she wants to invite us to the Tiger Park this weekend. Are you free? If not, I'll just reject it. I'm not going either. Why not? It's tiring to go to class every day. It's good to relax on the weekend. Lin Yi smiled. Or do you not want to go with me? I'm not. I'm just worried that Meng Yao and Yushu won't like us going out together. It'll cause you trouble. Xinyan blushed. Hee, then why don't they go together? Lin Yi said. Together. Xinyan didn't know why, but she felt a little disappointed all of a sudden. All right, I'll talk to Meiyue tonight and have her tell Zhang Duopan. But you talked to Bai Wei Tuo. Meiyue said she's worried that Zhang Duopan might try something. Heh. Why didn't she say it herself? Lin Yi asked with a smile. Meiyue she's not sure if she can be with Bai Wei Tuo, and she's high school friends with Zhang Duopan. Wouldn't she be betraying her old classmate if Zhang Duopan found out about it? Xinyan shook her head. Lin Yi frowned. This He Meiyue was really indecisive, but this was by Wei Tuo's business. He couldn't say much, so he said, "Okay, I'll tell him." Okay. Xinyan nodded before turning back to her book. Xinyan didn't know if she was playing with fire. Ever since the military training, her relationship with Lin Yi had gotten a lot closer. She didn't know what other people would think if they kept this up, but she knew that she was starting to rely on Lin Yi a little. Every time she went to class and waited for him to sit beside her, she would feel at ease. They didn't talk much, but Xinyan felt that it was a kind of tacit understanding. But Xinyan's heart sank every time she thought about her engagement. She felt a little uneasy. Xinyan thought that Lin Yi was very strong, but House Kong wasn't the same as before. She heard that House Kong had found a powerful backer, or else family Xiao wouldn't be so eager to get married to House Kong, even with the hidden house pie's support. Man. Xinyan sighed as she looked back at her textbook. She'd put these headaches aside for now. She'd be happy every day, and at least she was happy and at ease right now. She enjoyed sitting at the same table with Lin Yi, having class together. Lin Yi stopped by Wei Tuo after class, telling him about Zhang Duopan's plan and He Meiyue's message. Meiyue really told Da to tell me? Bai Wei Tuo was very excited after hearing Lin Yi's words. Yes. Lin Yi was speechless. Why was He Meiyue so happy that she didn't tell Bai Wei Tuo herself? Heh, that's great. I still have a slight advantage over Zhang Duopan. Bai Wei Tuo smiled. Lin Yi paused, realizing why Bai Wei Tuo was so happy. He was thinking too much. He Meiyue was different from his girlfriends. Xiao was the one who took the initiative to chase him, and it was a very purposeful kind. He didn't have any competitors at all, and Xiao didn't have any feelings for other guys either. That was why he was so critical of He Meiyue's actions. But when he thought about it, He Meiyue and Zhang Duopan were really old classmates, and Bai Wei Tuo joined later. From this point alone, He Meiyue was already very good to Bai Wei Tuo. After school today, Lin Yi didn't let Han Jingjing wait for nothing. He called her to the parking lot, and Han Jingjing was very happy that Lin Yi thought of her. Brother Lin Yi, you finally remembered Jingjing. That's great. Han Jingjing didn't hold the tablet to write or draw, but she talked to Lin Yi. Yesterday's incident. I'm really sorry. Lin Yi smiled bitterly. If it weren't for yesterday's incident, Lin Yi wouldn't pay so much attention to it. It's nothing. I just caught a cold. Achoo. Han Jingjing sneezed. It wasn't obvious in the morning, but she didn't expect it to get worse and worse after school. You caught a cold? Lin Yi saw Han Jingjing's situation and immediately frowned. He said, take some medicine when you go back. Oh, how about this? I'll go over and help you treat it. I have something important to tell you tonight. Okay. Han Jingjing nodded. Brother Lin Yi, what important matter do you have for Jingjing? You'll know when you go back, said Lin Yi. Oh. Han Jingjing nodded. The two went to the parking lot, and Lin Yi opened the door and got in with Han Jingjing. They waited quietly for Meng Yao, Yu Shu, and Han Xiaochao. Chapter 2019. Chapter 2032. Flu treating colds was different from high school. The teacher wouldn't drag the class on, and the class would usually end when it was time. And so, very quickly, Meng Yao, Yu Shu, and Han Jingjing came over. After they got in the car, Lin Yi started the car and headed straight to the college Shang district. The group had a tacit understanding already, so they didn't need to say anything. Back home, Grandma's son was cooking dinner. Lin Yi said to Meng Yao, Yao, I'm going to Han Jingjing's for a bit. I have some things to discuss with her. You guys eat first. No need to wait for me. You're going to Han Jingjing's? Meng Yao paused. Lin Yi didn't seem to be interested in Han Jingjing at all. He'd only brought them some food last night, and he'd come back immediately after that. They hadn't even talked much, so why was he going over to Han Jingjing's place today? Yeah, Han Jingjing wants to learn pill making, so I'm going to discuss it with her. Lin Yi smiled bitterly. You guys know about the 2-year promise I made with Bingtang, but I haven't made any progress in my pill making skills. Han Jingjing likes pill making, so it'd be great if she could do it. I see. The miss realized why Lin Yi would go to Han Jingjing on his own accord. This Han Jingjing didn't have a brain, and Lin Yi didn't really like her. Without a reason, Lin Yi wouldn't go visit her. Naturally, the miss wouldn't stop Xiao. She nodded. Go, don't worry about us. If it's too late, Shu and I will rest first. Okay. Lin Yi nodded and left the villa with the needles. He went to Han Jingjing's villa next door and pressed the doorbell. It hadn't even been a second since Lin Yi pressed the doorbell, and the door opened. Han Jingjing was standing there as if she was waiting for Lin Yi, scaring Lin Yi. Why did you open the door so quickly? Lin Yi was a little surprised by Han Jingjing's speed. I've been waiting for you at the door, Han Jingjing said. You pressed the doorbell, so I opened the door. You've been waiting for me here since you got home? The corner of Lin Yi's mouth twitched. He felt that Han Jingjing's actions couldn't be understood with common sense. Yeah. Han Jingjing nodded and said, I'm afraid that I'll be busy later and won't hear the doorbell. You'll be silly waiting for me at the door. It doesn't feel good to wait for someone. Jingjing felt terrible yesterday, so I don't want big brother Lin Yi to wait too. Okay, thank you. Jingjing, you're the best. Lin Yi sighed. It had to be said that although Han Jingjing's thinking was a bit weird, Lin Yi was still very touched at the moment. He also felt sorry for leaving Han Jingjing in the parking lot yesterday. Jingjing is the best. Han Jingjing nodded in agreement. Because big brother Lin Yi is good to Jingjing, Jingjing is also good to big brother Lin Yi. Yesterday, Lin Yi was even more apologetic. Yesterday, Jingjing knew that big brother Lin Yi didn't mean it, so Jingjing didn't mind, said Han Jingjing. Well, let's cure your cold first, Lin Yi said. Then I have something important to tell you. Where's Han Xiao? He's reading upstairs. Do you have something to talk to him about? Asked Han Jingjing. It's nothing. Lin Yi shook his head. Did he not catch a cold? No, he seems to be fine, said Han Jingjing. That's good. Lin Yi said, you sit on the sofa. I'll help you with acupuncture. Can acupuncture cure a cold? Han Jingjing was a little confused. Don't I need to take medicine? No, acupuncture will do. Lin Yi said, others may not be able to do it, but I can. Oh, that's good. Han Jingjing nodded obediently and sat on the sofa, but she still asked with some worry, Big brother Lin Yi, does acupuncture hurt? It doesn't hurt. As Lin Yi said this, he took out the silver needle and sterilized it with his true energy. He seemed to insert it into Han Jingjing's body casually. In fact, Lin Yi's accuracy couldn't be higher. Okay, don't move. It will be fine in a while. After Lin Yi inserted the needle, he pinched the end of the silver needle and infused a little true energy. It's so hot. Han Jingjing's beautiful forehead was covered in a thin layer of sweat, and her body was also drenched. I think I've gotten some good water. Poof. Lin Yi's hand that was pinching the silver needle shook slightly. A lot of water? Han Jingjing's words were really ambiguous. If it weren't for Han Jingjing's big watery eyes that were full of innocence, Lin Yi would really think that Han Jingjing was on him. However, after Lin Yi heard this, he still had a little reaction. He coughed awkwardly and quickly sat on the sofa on the side. He said, okay, wait for a while. Oh, okay. Han Jingjing didn't seem to notice the physiological changes in Lin Yi's body. She trusted Lin Yi and nodded. After a while, Lin Yi calmed his heartbeat and put away the silver needle. He didn't expect a girl like Han Jingjing to be very lethal sometimes. Is she very cute now? Okay, you go take a bath. Wash off the sweat on your body. Lin Yi said, I will wait for you here. Are you going to take a bath now? Han Jingjing was slightly stunned. Then you, wait for me here. I'm really sorry. Do you want to watch TV? What are you eating tonight? Lin Yi asked. Instant noodles or takeout. Han Jingjing said, what's wrong? Nothing. You take a bath first. I'll go back and take a look. I'll get some food from home. Let's eat together. Lin Yi said. That's fine. Thank you, Lin Yi bro. Han Jingjing said. Lin Yi nodded and left Han Jingjing's villa. He returned to his own villa. Miss and Shu had already finished eating. They were watching TV in the living room. When she saw Lin Yi coming back, Meng Yao asked, Lin Yi, did you talk about the things over there? I left some food for you. It's in the kitchen. It shouldn't be cold yet. You can heat it up and eat it. I haven't talked about it yet. Han Jingjing caught a cold. I just cured her. Lin Yi said, now that Han Jingjing went to take a bath, I came back to get some food to eat with her. Shield bro, did you touch Han Jingjing as well? Just like that day with Wang Xinyan? Yu Shu suddenly asked. Sweat. Lin Yi waved the silver needle in his hand and said, this time I have silver needles. I don't need to take off my clothes or touch her. Oh, so you touched Wang Xinyan on purpose last time? Yu Shu asked. I didn't bring my silver needles last time. Lin Yi said. Chapter 2020. Date, November 1st NBSP. But you can go back to the room to get it. Yu Shu said. 1*1*. My needles were contaminated last time, so I can't use them anymore, Lin Yi said. Then you can buy a new one. Yu Shu said. Alright Shu, if you want Lin Yi to touch you, just say it, no need to find so many excuses. Meng Yao interrupted Yu Shu. Yao Yao, you're the king of truth, Yu Shu said shocked. You're even better than truth Shu. I've lived with you for so long. How could I not know what you're thinking? Meng Yao curled her lips. But you're only good at talking, why don't you go push me down if you can? Shield bro doesn't like tough Shu. Yu Shu said. Lin Yi didn't expect the miss to say something like that, and he sweated. It seemed like Yao Yao, him, and Shu were really familiar with each other. The miss was treating him more and more like a part of the family, not hiding anything in front of him. You guys talk, I'll bring the dishes over. Lin Yi shook his head, admiring Meng Yao for being able to see through Shu with one look. Even Lin Yi felt like he couldn't see through Yu Shu. Although Yu Shu said that she liked him, Lin Yi felt that there was something hidden under Yu Shu's straightforward personality, different from Xiaoxiao's straightforwardness. Perhaps if he and Xiaoxiao stayed together for a long time, something beyond friendship would happen naturally. But with Shu, Lin Yi felt that it wouldn't happen. Even Lin Yi himself didn't know why. Maybe it was because the two of them had been living together for so long, and there really wasn't anything going on. Or maybe it was because of him and Yu Shu. Although there were small flirtatious moments, there hadn't been a single real flirtatious moment. But there was one thing he was sure of. Yu Shu seemed to have feelings for him, but it was a strange feeling. It seemed right in front of his eyes, yet far away at the same time. Lin Yi couldn't figure out little Shu's thoughts. This girl was sometimes smart and sometimes silly, but to say that she was silly. Actually, it wasn't that silly. In short, some things were very strange. Lin Yi brought the food to Han Jingjing's villa. The food in Lin Yi's hands was enough for 3 people. Just now, when Lin Yi left, he didn't lock the door. However, the door was unlocked, so there was no need to press the doorbell this time. After placing the dishes on the dining table, Lin Yi quietly waited for Han Jingjing to finish showering and come down. Han Jingjing probably just took a shower and didn't spend too much time. Obviously, she didn't want to keep Lin Yi waiting for too long. They didn't bathe for too long. Otherwise, Lin Yi knew how long girls took to bathe. Miss and Shu took a long time to bathe. Big brother Lin Yi. I made you wait for a long time. Han Jingjing changed into a set of pajamas. The loose nightgown revealed her body, and Lin Yi didn't dare to continue looking. This Han Jingjing's body seemed to be quite good. If Lin Yi didn't know Han Jingjing's personality, he would think that Han Jingjing was deliberately seducing him. She had been seducing him ever since she came out of the water. But Lin Yi knew that Han Jingjing's personality was silly. She probably didn't have such thoughts, so Lin Yi could only think that she was familiar with him and didn't guard against him. No, I just came back. Lin Yi said, ask Han Xiaoxiao to come down and have a meal with us? Wow, so much food. Big brother Lin Yi, you're so amazing. You came back and made so much food. Han Jingjing was overjoyed when she saw the food on the table. Yesterday's food was so delicious. Xiaoxiao and I didn't eat enough. I didn't expect to eat again today. It's much better than the takeout from those restaurants. Oh. Lin Yi didn't explain that he didn't cook today's food, but Grandma Sun's cooking was quite good. Han Jingjing picked up the phone next to the stairs and dialed the intercom in Han Xiaoqiao's room. She asked Han Xiaoqiao to come and eat. Then she ran to Lin Yi's side and sat down. The fragrance of shower gel made Lin Yi feel refreshed. Han Xiaoqiao was obviously the nerd type. He was even more nerdy than Han Jingjing. When he went downstairs, he was still holding a textbook. He walked to the table and put the textbook down. He looked at the food on the table and was a little surprised. Sister, it's so sumptuous? I haven't eaten such a sumptuous meal in a long time. Big brother Lin Yi brought it. Han Jingjing said. Thank you, big brother Lin Yi. Han Xiaoqiao said shyly. Okay, hurry up and eat. Lin Yi said. Han Jingjing and Han Xiaoqiao buried their heads to eat, but Han Jingjing ate 2 mouthfuls and wondered. Today's food doesn't seem to be cooked by big brother Lin Yi. It's not the same as yesterday's, but it's still delicious. You can tell. Lin Yi was a little surprised. He didn't expect Han Jingjing to be so powerful. She could immediately tell that today's food wasn't made by him. Han Jingjing nodded. It feels like the heat is different. Today's food was made by my housekeeper, Grandma Sun, but Grandma Sun's cooking is also very good. Lin Yi said. Han Jingjing didn't say anything and lowered her head to eat. Han Jingjing's appetite wasn't big, so she was full soon. Han Xiaoqiao could eat a lot and ate 3 bowls of rice. However, after eating, Han Xiaoqiao took the textbook upstairs and didn't care about Lin Yi and Han Jingjing. Han Jingjing was about to clean up the dishes, but she was stopped by Lin Yi. Han Jingjing. Wait a minute. Don't clean up yet. Wait until I finish talking to you. All right, Lin Yi bro. Han Jingjing nodded and stopped in her tracks. Lin Yi sat on the sofa, and Han Jingjing followed. Han Jingjing, haven't you always wanted to learn alchemy? I have a copy of the information here, but after I give it to you, don't tell anyone, especially not to Yu Panhu. Lin Yi said that although Boss Bai said that this thing was a street stall, Lin Yi didn't want to show it to others. And Han Jingjing nodded quickly with a happy face. Don't worry, big brother Lin Yi. Jingjing will never show it to others. I won't show it even if I die. It's like protecting my body from other men. Ugh, that's a bit too much. Lin Yi was stunned. Protecting my body from other men? Then am I considered something else? Lin Yi shook his head. What's going on with this Han Jingjing? Seducing me again and again? To say that she's stupid, it doesn't seem that she's too stupid. It's just that her thinking logic is not the same as normal people. But to say that she's not stupid, why is she like a child? To be continued. Chapter 2021. Han Jingjing's stupidity was completely different from Yushu's stupidity. It's not serious. Jingjing will treasure it. Han Jingjing nodded. All right, up to you. This is an auxiliary mental cultivation method for alchemists, and this is the mental cultivation method for alchemists to condense Dan fire. You can try to cultivate these too. First, cultivate the auxiliary mental cultivation method, then try to condense Dan fire. Lin Yi gave the information Boss Bai gave him to Han Jingjing. Scan it and put it in your tablet, it's too eye-catching. I got this from someone else. Before Han Jingjing achieved anything, Lin Yi didn't want people to know too much. All right, Jingjing will scan it in a bit. Han Jingjing nodded. All right, Han Jingjing, study it yourself, I'll go back first, Lin Yi said. Lin Yi bro, just call me Jingjing from now on, that's my nickname, everyone at home calls me that. Han Jingjing said. Calling me Han Jingjing sounds too distant. All right, I'll call you Jingjing then. Lin Yi didn't reject it and left with a nod. When he got home, the Miss and Shu hadn't rested yet. Lin Yi didn't actually waste much time. He just ate with Han Jingjing and Xiaoqiao and gave the things Boss Bai gave him to Han Jingjing, giving her some instructions. Lin Yi, how was it? Does Han Jingjing know how to concoct pills? Meng Yao saw Lin Yi come back and quickly asked. In her heart, she was even more worried than Lin Yi. Tang Yun was already gone, and even if she didn't want to, Xiao wouldn't be able to come back. It's not that fast, Lin Yi smiled bitterly. Concocting pills isn't that easy, you'll have to wait for a while to see. I see, I was too impatient. Meng Yao smiled embarrassedly and looked at Shu. Yao, why are you looking at me like that? Shu didn't know what was going on. Is there something on my face? Meng Yao couldn't take it anymore. Didn't you have something to say to your shield bro? Me? Something? Shu blinked. No. Why not? Have you forgotten? Ahem. Meng Yao's eyes widened. No. Sister Yao, what are you talking about? Shu looked at Meng Yao, confused. That's it. Meng Yao said as she reached her hand into Shu's clothes and pulled. Oh! Yao Yao! Yushu shrieked before coming to a sudden realization. Yao Yao was talking about underwear. Oh right, shield bro. Where are my and sister Yao Yao's underwear? Meng Yao didn't know what to say. She was too embarrassed to ask. If you keep asking, I might as well ask myself. What the hell is going on? Underwear, I would have forgotten about it if you didn't mention it. Lin Yi just remembered that he put the underwear in the trunk of the car, but Han Jingjing and Han Xiaoqiao were in the car, and then Su Shirhan came. Lin Yi was too embarrassed to take the underwear out in front of Shirhan, so he forgot about it after a long time. He patted his head and said apologetically, I'll get it for you now. With that, Lin Yi turned around and left the villa. He went to the car to get the underwear box and put it on the coffee table in the living room. Shield bro, when you helped us pack the underwear, did you see anything special? Did you see anything special? Yushu asked. Ha! Meng Yao almost had the urge to strangle Yushu. Lin Yi put the underwear box on the coffee table and didn't say anything. He was about to go back to his room when you reminded him. Thing. Lin Yi paused. He turned around and opened the underwear box in front of Meng Yao and Yushu. He took out the electric stick and asked, Are you talking about this? Yeah. Yushu realized that she'd done something stupid as well. She could only admit it when she saw Meng Yao's murderous glare. I'm the one who bought it, it has nothing to do with Yao Yao. Meng Yao rolled her eyes at Yushu's words. Were you trying to hide something from her with those words? Nothing to do with Yao Yao? It has nothing to do with me in the first place, okay? But you're saying it like you're taking the blame for me? You bought it in the first place. Meng Yao said angrily. I didn't say it was Yao Yao who bought it. I said I bought it myself. Yushu said innocently. You. Why you? Meng Yao's eyes were wide open as her chest heaved up and down. She snatched the electric stick from Lin Yi's hands. I really should have thrown it away back then. But, Yao Yao, you said that it's not good to just throw it around. Yushu said weakly, and if I get a boyfriend in the future, I can prepare for it. Prepare my ass. Meng Yao's face was red. She wanted to dig a hole in the ground and hide in it. She threw the stick on the coffee table and said to Lin Yi, It's for you. For me. Lin Yi pointed at himself, stunned. What would he need this thing for? But looking at the misembarrassed face, Lin Yi smiled bitterly as he picked it up. All right, I'll take it then. I heard that Zhang Naipeo practices some chrysanthemum arts or something. I'll give it to him later. Lin Yi had a rough idea of what was going on. Yushu must have bought this thing, and Meng Yao was innocent in all of this. It was just that Meng Yao was afraid of being misunderstood, so Lin Yi took the stick and successfully shifted the blame onto Zhang Naipeo. Pfft! Give it to Zhang Naipeo? Yushu blinked and burst out laughing. That chrysanthemum art of his, that's not what it means, is it? That's an ancient practitioner's art. The chrysanthemum doesn't mean that in the ancient times, right? Shu, can't you calm down? What do you mean by this or that? Why are your thoughts so complicated? Meng Yao was already embarrassed enough, and Shu was still going on and on. How do you know that I'm complicated, Yao Yao? Then Yao Yao's thoughts are complicated as well. Yushu said. What's there to be complicated about? Lin Yi giving it to Zhang Naipeo means that he's mocking Zhang Naipeo for being useless, and giving it to Naipeo to give to his girlfriend, that's looking down on him. Do you understand? Your thoughts are too evil. Meng Yao explained. What the fuck, Yao Yao, your thoughts really are complicated, I can't even think of such a deep meaning. Yushu said, surprised. Chapter 2022. You. Meng Yao paused, realizing that her explanation was getting more and more complicated in the heat of the moment. Isn't this just an electric stick? Lin Yi looked at the two innocently. I actually wanted Zhang Naipeo to use it when we got home. But it's the right thing to do for his girlfriend. All right, I'm going back to practicing. You two rest early. Meng Yao and Yushu looked at Lin Yi's back, speechless. Did Lin Yi really not know? It seemed like he didn't want the atmosphere to get any more awkward. In actuality, Lin Yi didn't even think that the Miss and Shu would use something so overbearing. Yushu probably bought it out of curiosity, or to frame someone else. But no matter what, Meng Yao finally let out a sigh of relief. She turned back to Yushu. You did a good job. Did I do a good job? Yushu blinked her eyes. Of course, you did a good job. Humph. I'll teach you a lesson tonight. Meng Yao glared at her. Lin Yi went back to his room and threw the electric stick on the shelf. He then started practicing with the refinement fire practitioner's arts that Boss Bai gave him. When Lin Yi gave the information to Han Jingjing, he had already memorized the incantation for condensing the refinement fire, so she could practice according to the incantation now. Net. But, half an hour later, Lin Yi gave up decisively. Before, according to the refinement fire practitioner's arts that Zhang Liju gave to Lin Yi could still condense a refinement fire, but according to Boss Bai's arts, Lin Yi couldn't even condense a spark, let alone a refinement fire. There was no trend at all, and this made Lin Yi speechless. Was his talent that bad? It was so bad that it made one's hair stand on end. Or was it that this practitioner's arts didn't suit him? Right. It had to be. Lin Yi comforted himself. He put aside the matter of condensing the alchemic fire. Lin Yi could only pin his hopes on Han Jingjing. He hoped that this little girl could bring him some unexpected surprises. All Lin Yi could do now was to cultivate the second level of the art of dragon mastery and increase his strength as soon as possible. Sometimes, having absolute strength was also a trump card. Time always slipped away unknowingly. A few days passed in the blink of an eye, and it was another weekend. In the past few days, other than going to school with Miss Shu, Han Jingjing, and Han Xiaoqiao, Lin Yi didn't do anything special. It was a peaceful and leisurely university life. Net. Han Jingjing was still studying her tablet every day, but she was no longer writing or drawing. Instead, she would look at it for a while and then close her eyes to meditate for a while. But Lin Yi knew that she wasn't deep in thought, but she was cultivating a supporting mental cultivation method. What surprised Lin Yi was, beside Han Jingjing, there was actually a faint fluctuation of heaven and earth aura. She had stepped onto the path of cultivation. It was the sign of becoming a cultivator. There were many people who were stuck at the entrance of a book, but Han Jingjing had actually made some progress in just a few days' time. Although being able to cultivate a supporting mental cultivation method, it didn't mean that she could successfully condense the alchemic fire. Even if she successfully condensed the alchemic fire, she might be like Lin Yi, unable to control the intensity and temperature of the fire. Therefore, Han Jingjing could only be considered a beginner among beginners. Moreover, the supporting mental cultivation method of alchemists was the simplest cultivation method. It was simpler than any other mental cultivation method, and it was only used to assist in condensing the alchemic fire. But even so, Han Jingjing could master the supporting mental cultivation method in such a short time, which was really a genius among geniuses. However, the fluctuation of the heaven and earth aura was extremely weak, so only Lin Yi could feel it if he was very close, but Boss Bai couldn't feel it on the podium. This was the beginning of cultivating the true Tao. This situation surprised and delighted Lin Yi. Could it be that Han Jingjing was really a genius? Early in the morning, Lin Yi drove Meng Yao and Yushu to school in his Jeep Cherokee. Today was the weekend, so there was no class, so Lin Yi didn't bring Han Jingjing. Today's main activity was to go to the Tiger Park. He parked the car in the parking lot, and Lin Yi quietly waited for the others. Not long after, Bai Weitua, Zhao Shengji, Song Xiaodao, Zhang Duopan, and Fan Ganhe walked over from the direction of the male dorm. Bro Lin, so early? Sorry to keep you waiting. Bai Weitua greeted Lin Yi. We just arrived too. Lin Yi said. Where are he, Mei Yue and the others? They're in the dorm room, they'll be out soon. Bai Weitua said as he looked carefully at Lin Yi's car. As expected, he saw Meng Yao and Yushu in the car. He was smart enough not to mention Wang Xinyan again. You guys can take Lin Yi's car later. Mei Yue and the others can take mine. Zhang Duopan said. You three men squeezing in the back of my car is a bit cramped. Lin Yi's car is a 7-seater. It's no problem. Lin Yi's car has some water in the back seat, so it can't fit 3 people. Mei Yue and I will take a taxi later, and Xinyan and Xiaoling can take Lin Yi's car. Zhao Shengji and Song Xiaodao can take your car. Bai Weitua said. What? You and Mei Yue will take a taxi? We have a car here, why would we take a taxi? Zhang Duopan immediately objected after hearing Bai Weitua's words. Besides, you guys should be the ones taking the taxi, how can you let the girls take it? Haha, there's no need to take a taxi. Xinyan has her own car. You three can take Zhang Duopan's car later. Xin Yan and the others can drive themselves. Lin Yi said as he looked at the red sports car not far away. Drive themselves. Zhang Duopan paused as he looked at Lin Yi, confused. What car do they drive? Where do they have a car? At this time, Xin Yan, Xiaoling, and He Meiyue came as well. They heard the conversation between Lin Yi and Zhang Duopan. Xin Yan didn't want to drive herself. She wasn't someone who liked to show off, but since Lin Yi said so, she had no choice but to take out her keys and press the remote. Not far away, the red Porsche's headlights flashed twice. Zhang Duopan's eyes widened as if he had seen a monster. Fan Gonha, on the other hand, was in disbelief. Xin Yan had a car, and it was a Porsche too? How rich did her family have to be able to afford a sports car? Zhang Duopan could afford one, but Zhang Fengfeng didn't spoil him when he was in high school. It was only when he had an excuse to hit on girls that he had some money. Chapter 2023. So Zhang Duopan was wondering if he should get a new car? If it was a more powerful BMW X5M or X6, or even a Porsche Cayenne, it would be able to show off his rich young master's class. But today, he saw Xin Yan driving a Porsche sports car. And so he was shocked. Xin Yan, is this your car? Even He Meiyue and Chai Xiaoling were shocked as they looked at Xin Yan in disbelief. It's mine. It's just that I don't drive it that often. Xin Yan smiled bitterly. Well done, Xin Yan. It seems like only Lin Yi knows the truth. The rest of us are in the dark. He Meiyue teased. It's obvious who's close and who's distant. I just don't want to show off, and Lin Yi already knows that I have a car. Xin Yan blushed as she explained. All right, you guys are old friends, okay? Ling and I will be riding in your car later. A Porsche sports car. I've never ridden in a sports car before. He Meiyue said excitedly. Seeing that Xin Yan really had a car, Zhang Duopan didn't say anything else. He Meiyue had already said that she wanted a sports car. He couldn't just make one out of thin air, could he? Since Xin Yan has a car, then let's go, shall we? Let's go early, or else it'll be hard to drive with too many cars. Zhang Duopan laughed. The group of 3 cars, under the lead of Zhang Duopan's Land Rover Aurora, headed towards the Tiger Park. The Tiger Park's full name was the African Lion and Tiger Park. It was one of the largest and most famous tourist attractions near the East China Sea, also known as the Natural Forest Zoo. It covered a large area, about 200,000 square meters. With the primeval forest near the East China Sea as the foundation, there were many man-made landscapes and buildings, forming a unique natural attraction that was a combination of modern and primitive elements. Naturally, it attracted many tourists from all over the country. Currently, in the Lion and Tiger Park, there were African tigers, African lions, Siberian tigers, and many other ferocious beasts. Visitors could take special sightseeing vehicles, cable cars, and helicopters to see these beasts up close. They could also feed them themselves and experience the interaction and communication between humans and ferocious beasts. After parking the car at the entrance of the Tiger Park, Zhang Duopan took out the tickets that he had bought in advance. The ticket price was naturally not cheap. It cost 200 yuan, but it was a piece of cake for Zhang Duopan. This place is so big and grand, Meng Yao said as she looked at the Lion and Tiger Garden. Jiang Wen said that he wanted to open a zoo like this in Songshan. I wonder if there's any news about it? Yeah, he still owes me a lion. I haven't seen this guy in a long time. He's not paying up. Yu Shu said unhappily. Ugh. Lin Yi's already extorted so much money from him. A lion wouldn't make much of a difference, right? Meng Yao was speechless. Shu still remembered the lion's money. You're right. Yu Shu nodded. Meng Yao and Yu Shu were shocked by the aura of the Lion and Tiger Garden, and so were the others. Everyone was used to living in the city. Suddenly coming to this tiger park that was built on the basis of a primeval forest with an incomparably strong aura of nature naturally made them extremely excited. However, Lin Yi did not show any special expression. Lin Yi had gotten used to this kind of environment many years ago and was not surprised at all. This time, he had only found some familiar feelings from before. That period of time was really nostalgic and fascinating. It had been so long since he had returned to the city. The city life that he had yearned for was not as comfortable and peaceful as he had imagined. It was as if Lin Yi had stepped into another journey from one journey. Only after coming into contact with some people and things did Lin Yi realize that there is always someone better out there. These hidden families, and ancient sects were all unreachable existences for ordinary people. They would never have any interaction with them. But now, all of them were somehow connected to Lin Yi. Thinking back to the days that he had thought were dangerous, they didn't seem so dangerous anymore. After entering the Lion and Tiger Park, Zhang Duopan did not rush to line up with the other tourists to take the sightseeing bus or the cable car. Instead, he took out his phone and dialed a number. Hello? Uncle Su? I'm Zhang Duopan, yes. Zhang Fengfeng's son. Yeah, I'm at the Tiger Park with my classmates. We're at the entrance. Zhang Duopan said. All right, I'll wait for your people. While Zhang Duopan was talking on the phone, the others looked at him in confusion. They didn't know who he was looking for. But Lin Yi had a rough guess. This Lion and Tiger Park was probably opened by a friend of Zhang Duopan's father, and he'd come here to make this call to get some help, as well as show off his connections to Himeiwe. Lin Yi didn't care about this kind of child's play, and the person this guy was talking to wasn't him but Himeiwe. So Lin Yi just stood there and didn't say anything. Fan Gonha, on the other hand, waited for Zhang Duopan to hang up and asked, Brother Zhang, who are you calling? One of the sponsors of the Tiger Park is my father's friend. Zhang Duopan pretended not to care and smiled. These sightseeing buses aren't very good. They're all modified from ordinary vans. It's not very comfortable to sit in, so I asked my dad to find a friend to arrange a good car. Brother Zhang, you're so awesome. Fan Gonha exclaimed. It seems like your family has a lot of connections. You even have friends in East Ocean City. That's right. Isn't there Meiwe? There are VIPs here, so we have to at least have a good car. It's not like we don't have this condition. Zhang Duopan nodded and smiled. In fact, it's really awesome not to drive into the Tiger Park. Bai Weitua was so angry that he couldn't help but mock them. In fact, with Boss Bai's connections, it was easy to arrange something like this. Even if Boss Bai couldn't make elixirs now, he could just sell a recipe and guide some alchemists to make elixirs, which would bring him a lot of money. However, after Boss Bai was injured, he didn't do this. He had been very low-key and hid in the university as a lecturer. This was also what Bai Weitua felt the most aggrieved about. He obviously had the ability, but he didn't make more money. He and his brother were despised for flirting with girls. That's right. I don't know if young Master Zhang has this courage. Chai Shaoling immediately echoed after listening. Chapter 2024. She and Zhao Shengji had basically settled down, so she naturally supported Bai Weitua and Himeiwe being together. She didn't mind giving Zhang Duopan a blow. Net. Ha, it's not that I don't dare. These tigers, don't be fooled by their ferocious appearance. Many of them haven't eaten for days, they're just weaklings. Fan Gonha and I kicked a tiger until it fainted in my family's Tiger Park. Zhang Duopan bragged. But this is my father's friend's Tiger Park, you can't be so presumptuous. Naturally, no one believed Zhang Duopan's words. This was a bit too ridiculous. Knocked out a tiger with a few kicks? Did he think he was Wu Song? However, Lin Yi, Meng Yao, and Yushu didn't say anything. As far as they were concerned, knocking out a tiger with a few kicks wasn't enough. One kick from Lin Yi was enough to kill one. While Zhang Duopan was bragging, a long Hummer drove over and stopped beside them. The driver quickly got out of the car and ran to Zhang Duopan's side and said, You are young Master Zhang, right? I'm arranged by CEO Su to serve you the entire time. CEO Su said that we'll listen to your arrangements. As he said this, he purposely emphasized his tone, as if he had received some kind of instruction. He could recognize Zhang Duopan at a glance, obviously because he saw Zhang Duopan's photo. I'm Zhang Duopan. Zhang Duopan nodded. Okay, thank you. How should I address you? Just call me Old Yen, the driver and beast tamer here. The driver said. Then I'll call you Uncle Yen. Zhang Duopan smiled. I'll have to trouble Uncle Yen for this trip. Sure. Everyone get in the car? I'll bring you around the Tiger Park. Uncle Yen said. They got in the car, but it wasn't easy to choose a seat. It didn't matter to the others, but it was Lin Yi. He didn't know who to sit with. Himeiwe chose to sit with Shaoling. She didn't give Zhang Duopan and Bai Weitua a chance. It was obvious that she hadn't made a choice yet. Wang Xinyan, on the other hand, was one more. Lin Yi naturally didn't want Fan Gonghe to sit next to her, but Lin Yi was worried that Meng Yao and Yushu wouldn't be happy if he sat next to her. He was in a dilemma. Shield bro. You stay with Shu, she'll be scared when she sees the big tiger. Yushu called out to Lin Yi. Lin Yi was a little speechless. Would you be afraid of a tiger? You're not even scared of Go Huli's lion. Although, it wasn't a bad idea to have Xinyan and Meng Yao sit together. And so, Lin Yi nodded and sat beside Yushu, while Meng Yao went with the flow and sat beside Xinyan. Zhang Duopan and Fan Gonghe didn't want to do this. They wanted He Meiyue and Wang Xinyan to sit with them. That way, when they saw the tiger pouncing on the window, the girls would naturally be afraid. Shaking hands or hugging in his arms was also possible. But reality was too different from their imaginations. Zhang Duopan and Fan Gonghe had no choice but to sit together. The car started up slowly, and they drove into Tiger Forest. However, this luxurious extended Hummer attracted the attention of other tourists. It was obviously a VIP car, much better than a sightseeing car. Shu, you're scared. You're scared? Lin Yi asked, amused. Can't Shu be scared? Actually, Shu has a lot of things that she's scared of. Yushu's face showed a hint of sadness. Oh? Like what? Lin Yi asked. No, let's look at the tiger first. Yushu didn't want to talk about it. Meng Yao sat beside Xinyan, which surprised Xinyan a little. Xinyan hadn't expected to sit with him today. Meng Yao and Yushu were there, after all. She'd taken the last seat of her own volition in order to avoid Fan Gonghe's glare. At least she'd be able to stay away from Fan Gonghe. What Xinyan didn't expect, however, was for Meng Yao to walk to her side and sit down as soon as she sat down. This surprised her, and made her a little nervous. She didn't know what Meng Yao was planning. Xinyan had always been a quiet person. She wasn't good at talking to people, so she only nodded at Meng Yao. She didn't take the initiative to say anything. Meng Yao, on the other hand, didn't say anything after sitting down. She observed the girl beside her quietly. Without a doubt, Xinyan was a very beautiful girl. She didn't pale in comparison to Meng Yao at all. Spring flowers and autumn moon were equal. You like Lin Yi? Meng Yao asked. She checked Xinyan out as the car drove away. Meng Yao's sudden question made Xinyan's heart skip a beat. Was Meng Yao here to denounce her? Xinyan's heart almost jumped out of her chest, but she forced herself to calm down. I'm just good friends with Lin Yi. Oh. Meng Yao smiled meaningfully. It's nothing, really. Just let me know if you like Lin Yi, and I'll check on his girlfriend's behalf. She's given me the authority to do that. Ah. Xinyan paused. She looked at Meng Yao in disbelief. Lin Yi's girlfriend asked you to check on her? Yeah. Meng Yao smiled and nodded. His girlfriend asked him to find another girlfriend? Xinyan couldn't believe it, but that was what Meng Yao meant. Yeah. Meng Yao nodded again. Did I hear that right? Xinyan stared at Meng Yao, stunned. No. So if you like Lin Yi, you have to tell me before someone else gets to him. Meng Yao said. There's only one spot. Oh. Xinyan's heart skipped a beat when Meng Yao was about to tell her, but she remembered her own situation. She shook her head with a bitter smile. I'm engaged. Lin Yi and I are really just friends. Is that so? All right then. Meng Yao shrugged. She didn't want to continue the topic. I don't have anything against you, but you know that since Lin Yi's girlfriend gave me this responsibility, I have to keep my promise. I understand. Xinyan nodded. She didn't really understand, but she found it a little unbelievable. Huh, but I can tell that Lin Yi likes you a little. Meng Yao said. Xinyan's face reddened. Chapter 2025. He's not a busybody, especially in the past. Meng Yao said. He stood up for you at Songshan's Commercial Street. It's obvious that he likes you. Furthermore, he helped you many times after that, which made him seem rather special. Then isn't he on good terms with you guys? Xinyan's breathing quickened. She didn't want to talk about this topic anymore. It would only make her sink deeper and deeper. She quickly changed the topic to Meng Yao and Yushu. Does that mean that he likes you guys too? Our situations aren't quite the same. We've always been good friends, from the beginning till now. Meng Yao couldn't help but feel bitter. Good friends? Or was there a chance, but he did not fight for it? But I feel that you and Shu are very important in Lin Yi's heart. It's very special, Xinyan said. It's true. He really cares about you guys. Is that so? This time, it was Meng Yao's turn to blush. Xinyan couldn't help but smile at Meng Yao's blushing face. It looked like Meng Yao wasn't as calm as she used to be, after all. She had her moments of shyness too. At this moment, the relationship between the two of them seemed to have become much closer and more tacit. Then, we'll be good friends from now on, Meng Yao said. But only as close friends. If you want to pursue Lin Yi, you'll have to let him know first. Yeah. Wang Xinyan smiled. She felt a lot more relaxed now. She didn't have to be so careful anymore. Shoo. She's just the playful type. Don't mind her if she's targeting you. Meng Yao shrugged, a bitter smile on her face. She's even messing with me. No way. Xinyan paused. It's nothing. Meng Yao thought back to the electric stick from the other night. This Shu was such a scammer. She changed the topic. You're going to be Lin Yi's girlfriend in the future. He had been with her for a long time. In fact, you will realize that Shu is not a bad person. I'm not only engaged. And Xinyan still couldn't believe what she was hearing. Xiao. Do I really want you to help Lin Yi find a girlfriend? Xiao. You know Xiao? Meng Yao was a little surprised. She didn't expect Xinyan to know Xiao. Yes, when I was in Yanjing. We had a meal together. Xinyan smiled self-mockingly. She didn't want to tell him that it was with her fiancé, Zhao Long, so she paused. It's just a chance encounter, I guess. That's good. Meng Yao nodded. Actually, Xiao's Lin Yi's small wife. There's something I'll tell you in private. Since you're close to Lin Yi, there are some things that I won't hide from you, but don't spill the beans. Yes. I won't speak carelessly. Xinyan felt a little excited. Was she about to find out Lin Yi's secret? Although, Xinyan felt that nothing would happen between her and Lin Yi, but knowing more about Lin Yi made her feel happy and satisfied. Actually, Xiao is Lin Yi's small wife. Lin Yi has a big wife, but Lin Yi has forgotten about her. Meng Yao lowered her voice as she told Xinyan the story of Lin Yi, Tang Yun, and Xiao. The two sat at the back of the car, so they didn't have to worry about Lin Yi overhearing them. Especially since Meng Yao's voice was so soft that Xinyan had to get close to hear. At first, Xinyan thought that Lin Yi had two girlfriends, and was a little disappointed that Lin Yi was a playboy. But when she heard that it was Tang Yun who allowed Xiao to join, and that it was because she pitied her, Xinyan understood that Tang Yun was so kind, and Xiao was so pitiful. The trip to the Ice Palace in Snowy Valley moved Xinyan even more. She didn't think that love could be so great. What a sad story it was. Lin Yi risked his life to fight against those sky-class masters to save Xiao, and Tang Yun, in order to save Lin Yi, didn't hesitate to stay in Snowy Valley and become an inheritor. And in order to make Lin Yi not sad, she gave the forgetfulness herb to Lin Yi. What kind of sacrifice was that? Xinyan finally understood why Xiao wanted to help Lin Yi find another girlfriend, the big wife. It was to cover up this lie. Xinyan felt that it wasn't fair to Lin Yi, but this was Tang Yun's wish. If she really told Lin Yi the truth, no one would be happy. So the best thing to do was to keep hiding it. But letting Lin Yi find another girlfriend was a little too easy for him. So, the spots are limited. If you really want to, you can think about it. It's better to be familiar than unfamiliar, and I think you have a good personality. You won't bully Xiao, Meng Yao said, but we'll have to see what Lin Yi wants and what he chooses. I can't do it. Xinyan shook her head. I'm just saying. I just don't want you to spill the beans, Meng Yao said. Yeah, I won't, Xinyan nodded. The car drove to the Manchurian tigers. It was full of Manchurian tigers, also known as Siberian tigers. They were found in the northeast of Asia, and were the largest felines in existence. Males could reach up to 3 meters in length, with a meter-long tail. They weighed up to 350 kilograms, and there were many black stripes on their backs and sides, usually 2 of them in the shape of a willow leaf. Their heads were big and round, and there were many stripes on their foreheads. They were often connected in the middle, resembling the word king. That was why they were called the king of the jungle. Since it was the king of the jungle, naturally, it was extremely ferocious. Every sightseeing car had iron bars on the windows to prevent the tourists from getting hurt when they opened the windows. This extended Hummer was no exception. Except for a small movable opening on the iron fence at the window, which could be used to throw food out to feed the tigers, the entire body of the Hummer was completely sealed. Uncle Yen, there's too many people here. There's no point in feeding the tigers here. Is there a place with fewer people? Zhang Duopan asked on purpose. Yeah, there's less people at the animal taming area. Let's go there. The tigers there are trained, and they can jump high. You throw the beef into the air and they'll jump for it. It's very interesting. Uncle Yen said. Chapter 2026. All right, let's go there. By the way, are there any restrictions? Zhang Duopan asked. This article is from the Literature Museum. Ordinary tourists are naturally not allowed to go, but you guys are different. You are President Su's friend. President Su said that everything will be arranged by you. Uncle Yen said. Thank you, President Su. Let's go. Zhang Duopan never stopped showing off his superiority. The extended Hummer started and slowly drove to the animal taming area. Sure enough, at the entrance of the Iron Gate, Lin Yi and the others saw a sign. It said, Work Area. Non-staff members are not allowed to enter. However, the extended Hummer came to the Iron Gate. Without any questioning, the Iron Gate was opened by the staff and the car was allowed to pass. Obviously, this car was a VIP car. The staff members here all knew each other. This was actually a training place for the acrobatics hall in the Tiger Park. There were animal trainers taming all kinds of tigers and lions for them to perform. The Hummer stopped near a rockery. Uncle Yen said, Everyone can get out of the car to feed the animals. There are animal trainers here, and there are only 2 tigers. They won't cause any harm to anyone. This way, everyone can watch the tigers up close. Although Uncle Yen said so, everyone looked at each other. After all, they were facing tigers. Even if they were tamed, they were still very scary. Who knew if the tiger would suddenly go crazy? If it hurt someone, it would not be fun. Get out of the car? That's not good, right? There are more girls in the car. What if something happens? Bai Weitua's heart was also beating fast. I say, Bai Weitua, are you afraid? Why are you pushing the blame to the girls? Zhang Duopan looked at Bai Weitua with disdain and said, I don't think a coward like you can protect Himei at all. I won't let her get out of the car. That's protecting her. Bai Weitua's face turned red. Although he was a little afraid, he still argued. What if this tiger goes crazy? It's not a joke if it bites someone. Look, the animal trainers are standing next to the tiger. We were so close, but nothing happened? Zhang Duopan curled his lips. Bai Weitua was getting more and more worried. The happier he was, the more he could despise him and let Himei see how timid this man was. That's hard to say. Even humans go crazy, let alone tigers. Lin Yi said lightly, however, even if a tiger goes crazy, it will only bite arrogant and pretentious people. So Bai Weitua, it's fine. Let's go down. Look at you, worrying for Zhang Duopan, but he doesn't know how to appreciate people's kindness. Fuck. Who needs you to worry? Zhang Duopan listened to Lin Yi's words. He was even more disdainful. I'm getting out of the car right now. Let's see who the coward is. Bai Weitua's expression changed slightly, but he saw that Lin Yi had already stood up. Gritting his teeth, he followed her out of the car. Yushu, on the other hand, followed Lin Yi out of the car. Since the girls got out, Bai Weitua couldn't stay in the car anymore. He said, Mei Yue, let's get out too, but be careful, don't get too close. After Zhang Duopan got out of the car, he gave Uncle Yen a look. Uncle Yen nodded, indicating that everything was arranged. Zhang Duopan smiled knowingly. There's beef here, everyone can feed the tigers. Zhang Duopan said to the people who got out of the car. But for safety's sake, let's let Uncle Yen demonstrate first. As expected, the 2 tigers just stood next to the animal trainers. They didn't come over, and they didn't seem to have any intention of attacking them. It seemed like they were really different from the free-range tigers. Actually, the tigers here are more obedient and easier to feed. Uncle Yen said as he took out a piece of beef and threw it at the tigers. Sure enough, the two tigers jumped at the same time. One of them jumped higher and grabbed the piece of meat in the air. But what was more interesting was that when the other tiger saw that the previous tiger grabbed the meat, it stopped fighting and returned to the animal trainer's side, regardless of how much the previous tiger enjoyed the meat. Tigers eat alone. If one of them grabs the meat, the other tigers are very disciplined and won't fight for it. Of course, we can't rule out the possibility of a tiger king, but there isn't one here. Uncle Yen explained. Who's next? Bai Weitua, why don't you go first? Zhang Duopan laughed and said, but looking at you, you definitely don't dare, so let me do it. Bai Weitua was furious, but he couldn't do anything about it. He was indeed a little worried. It's okay, let him perform. Lin Yi patted Bai Weitua, smiled slightly, and said, people make mistakes, horses stumble. If he gets bitten later, he won't be so cocky. Ha, get bitten? Aren't you too timid? Fan Gonha glanced at Lin Yi and said sarcastically, generally, girls don't like cowards. Lin Yi didn't pay attention to him at all, making Fan Gonha's words useless. He was a little angry, but it was not good to be angry. He thought, in a while, I will let you know what it means to be a fool and afraid. Zhang Duopan picked up a piece of beef and threw it at the two tigers. Because one tiger was eating the meat, the other one who didn't get it before grabbed it first and bit the meat in its mouth. It was quite interesting. How about it? Mei Wei, why don't you try it too? After Zhang Duopan finished his performance, he said to He Mei Wei proudly. Okay. He Mei Wei saw that Zhang Duopan was not in any danger, so she nodded and agreed. This way of feeding the tigers personally was quite interesting, so He Mei Wei was also interested. Just like me, pick up a piece of meat and throw it over. Zhang Duopan said after a simple demonstration. Okay. He Mei Wei nodded, picked up a piece of meat, and threw it over to the tigers. However, maybe because the girl's strength was relatively small, the meat was thrown relatively close. The two tigers rushed over with a whoosh sound. It was as if they were rushing at He Mei Wei, and He Mei Wei was suddenly shocked. He Mei Wei suddenly screamed and dodged back in fear. In fact, this was also intentional by Zhang Duopan. The two tigers had actually been acting under the instructions of the beast tamer. The domesticated tigers were different from the free-range ones. Even if they hunted, they were controlled by the beast tamer. If the beast tamer didn't allow them to eat, they wouldn't eat. Therefore, the first two snatches of food seemed to be their own behavior, but in fact, it was also done under the secret instructions of the beast tamer. Lin Yi, who had dealt with wild beasts all year round, saw this clearly. Chapter 2027. Chapter 2040. The tiger went crazy. Zhang Duopan had a good plan. He deliberately let He Mei Wei throw the meat, and then used the excuse that a girl's hands were weak to make the tiger pounce on her. In fact, the beast tamer let him do this on purpose. Then, Zhang Duopan could take the opportunity to stand in front of He Mei Wei and save the damsel in distress. Or, He Mei Wei would be so scared that she would jump into his arms. However, as Zhang Duopan was fantasizing, a figure suddenly stumbled in front of He Mei Wei and blocked her. This figure was Bai Weitua. Of course, Bai Weitua didn't rush over by himself. He was pushed over by Lin Yi. Bai Weitua cursed brother Lin in his heart. Wasn't he pushing himself into the tiger's den? However, Lin Yi's control of strength was very accurate. Bai Weitua's legs seemed to be out of his control. He couldn't stop even if he wanted to, and he stood directly in front of He Mei Wei. Since he was here, Bai Weitua couldn't retreat. He could only bite the bullet and say, Mei Wei, don't be afraid. I'm here. Ha! Zhang Duopan was about to make a move, but he didn't expect Bai Weitua to beat him to it. His face suddenly became very ugly. As for the two tigers, they seemed to be rushing over fiercely, but they actually had no intention of attacking He Mei Wei. The beast tamer only wanted them to scare He Mei Wei. This kind of situation also happened when some brave guests went on stage to cooperate with the circus. So, the beast tamer was very familiar with this situation. Even though Bai Weitua stood not far from them, they didn't have any intention of attacking. They just aimed at the meat in front of them. After one of the tigers snatched the meat, the two tigers retreated. It seems that Bai Weitua is the most reliable person. Some people may say nice things, but they become stupid at the critical moment and can't move. Lin Yi said with a cold smile. Damn it, I got beaten to it by you guys, okay? Zhang Duopan was speechless. Who knew Bai Weitua would be so fast? Originally, he wanted to judge whether He Meiyue wanted to jump into his arms or dodge. If she dodged, he would stand in front of He Meiyue and jump into her arms. Then, he would be able to sit back and enjoy the fruits of her labor. How could he have known that things would change so quickly? In fact, no matter how fast Zhang Duopan's reaction was, he wasn't as fast as Lin Yi. Lin Yi didn't wait for Zhang Duopan to move and pushed Bai Weitua out. That's right. Although I don't like to do dangerous things, if a female companion is in danger, I will be the first to rush out. Bai Weitua was extremely grateful to Lin Yi. It seemed like Lin Yi had already seen through Zhang Duopan's plan. Meiyue, did you see that? Who is more reliable? Lin Yi couldn't do anything about He Meiyue's delay in making a decision. Humph, you clearly know that these two tigers won't hurt people. So why are you showing off? Zhang Duopan snorted. He hated Bai Weitua so much in his heart. He planned to take the opportunity to teach him a lesson, so he said with a fake smile, Bai Weitua, if you are in a hurry to feed the tigers, I will say that you are in a hurry. Why are you still standing in front of He Meiyue? I didn't move because I know that these two tigers definitely won't hurt people. This is called being calm. Calm? Bai Weitua didn't refute. Instead, he picked up a piece of beef on the ground and said, If that's the case, what's the difficulty of feeding such domesticated tigers? Whether it's difficult or not, it's also a kind of courage training. Don't talk so much nonsense. Zhang Duopan said as he gave Uncle Yen a look. Uncle Yen nodded calmly. So when Bai Weitua just picked up a piece of meat, the tiger on the other side didn't wait for Bai Weitua to finish shaving the beef in his hand. With a roar, it directly bit the beef in Bai Weitua's hand. Although it didn't hurt Bai Weitua, it still scared Bai Weitua enough that he sat on the ground. Lin Yi frowned. He knew that this was probably Zhang Duopan's deliberate mischief, but he didn't have any evidence. Naturally, he couldn't say anything. Ha ha ha, Bai Weitua? It can't be, right? You're actually so scared that you sat on the ground? Aren't you a little too useless? Zhang Duopan suddenly laughed. Didn't you say that there's no difficulty in feeding this kind of domesticated tiger? Why? Are you so scared that you pissed your pants? The corner of Lin Yi's mouth flashed a trace of a cold smile. He pretended to want to help Bai Weitua up, but his hand suddenly flicked out a trace of true energy, aimed at one of the two tigers, and then emitted a strange sound wave from his mouth. But Lin Yi's acting was very good, and he made it sound like he was lifting Bai Weitua up with all his might. No one thought anything was wrong at all. But there was a reason for Lin Yi to do this. He was provoking the tiger in front of him. In the past, Lin Yi was active in various kinds of primeval forests all year round. He had a set of ways to deal with these fierce beasts. Sometimes, using beasts to deal with the enemy was also a means. Lin Yi first used his pure energy to injure the tiger, and then used that strange sound wave to make the tiger go berserk and bloodthirsty. This way, even a domesticated tiger would turn into a mad tiger and attack the person closest to it. Before, when Lin Yi didn't know how to use the chi bomb, he naturally used other hidden weapons to hurt the tiger. However, that was more obvious and could let people see the flaws. It didn't matter when facing the enemy in the primeval forest, but it wouldn't work here. Lin Yi wanted to harm Zhang Duopan. Naturally, he couldn't let others see it, so he directly used the chi bomb. After doing all this, Lin Yi quickly helped Bai Weitua up and then pulled him back. He stood far away from Zhang Duopan and said, Weitua, forget it. This tiger is not a joke. After all, this kind of thing is a fierce beast. Even if it is domesticated, there may be a situation where it will bite people. It's not shameful for you to do this. A man should know when to yield and when to stand tall. Saving your life is the key. Like some people who don't care about their lives, they are stupid. Ha! Stupid? If you are timid, then don't say those useless things. If you are afraid of this kind of domesticated tiger, then you are really as timid as a mouse. Ha! As soon as Zhang Duopan's voice fell, he found that one of the two tigers rushed towards him. Looking at its fierce appearance, it seemed like it wanted to swallow him. Zhang Duopan was scared out of his wits. He turned around and ran, but the tiger was chasing him. It thought that Zhang Duopan hurt it. Lin Yi's sound wave had made the tiger a little crazy. It directly regarded Zhang Duopan, who was the closest to it, as an enemy. Roar! The speed of the tiger was quite fast, but one of its legs was injured by Lin Yi's chi explosion, so its mobility was seriously reduced, so it couldn't catch up with Zhang Duopan. Chapter 2028. Chapter 2041. Lion King Lin Yi did it on purpose. Although Zhang Duopan was a bit annoying, Lin Yi didn't want to kill him directly. So, this was also a lesson for him. Uncle Yen, help. What's wrong with this tiger? Wasn't it tamed? Why did it suddenly bite me? Only now did Zhang Duopan know fear. His back was drenched in cold sweat. He never would have thought that this tiger, who had never hurt anyone, would want to harm him. Could it be that the beast tamer had asked it to scare by Wei Tuo, and that had aroused its ferocity? From the looks of it, this was the only explanation. Otherwise, why would this tiger suddenly change its temperament? Uncle Yen and the beast tamer were also baffled. Logically speaking, this tiger shouldn't hurt people. Why did it suddenly pounce on Zhang Duopan as if it had seen an enemy? Fortunately, Zhang Duopan ran fast. No, why did the tiger's leg seem to be injured? How did he get hurt? When did you get hurt? Could it be that the tiger was so ferocious because it was injured? Woo woo, a woo. The beast tamer kept calling out the beast language that the tiger could understand. He wanted to stop the mad tiger, but the tiger didn't seem to listen to anything. It madly rushed toward Zhang Duopan. The miss looked at Lin Yi, deep in thought. Shu, on the other hand, clapped her hands and laughed. Haha, Shield Bro's almost catching up to Prophet Shu. Amazing. This tiger is crazy. Some people are really retarded. Bai Weituo's hatred was also vented in his heart. He shouted mockingly, Zhang Duopan, brother Lin is right. Even if this tiger is tamed, it can still bite people. People like you are not courageous, but arrogant. You are simply too stupid. At this moment, Mei was frowning and shaking her head. She sighed in her heart. This Zhang Duopan was indeed useless. How could he do such a dangerous and arrogant thing? Fortunately, the tiger didn't go crazy just now. Otherwise, it would have really hurt him. Even Bai Weituo was almost injured by the tiger. Help! Zhang Duopan cried out miserably. Although Fan Gonha was anxious, he did not dare to step forward to help. He was facing a tiger, and he knew that he was not Wu Song. He did not have the ability to do anything to a tiger, so he could only be anxious. Bang! A gunshot was heard. It was the beast tamer who fired the shot. He took out a tranquilizer gun from somewhere and shot it at the crazy tiger. After the gunshot, the tiger swayed twice before falling to the ground. Obviously, it had fainted. Phew! The beast tamer also breathed a sigh of relief. If anything happened to Zhang Duopan, he would also have a lot of responsibility. Uncle Yen also breathed a sigh of relief. This domesticated tiger actually went crazy. It was like winning the lottery. When Zhang Duopan saw that the tiger had fallen, he finally couldn't hold on anymore. He sat on the ground and panted heavily. His head was covered in sweat. Scared me to death. Scared me to death. Zhang Duopan couldn't care less about his face. He was about to lose his life. What face did he have? Fan Gonha quickly ran over and helped Zhang Duopan up. Uncle Yen was also very embarrassed. Young Master Zhang, no one knew that this tiger would suddenly go crazy. I know. It's not your fault. Zhang Duopan waved his hand. His face was very ugly. This time he had lost his face. He wanted to scare Bai Weituo, but in the end, he was the one who was scared. Let's go and see something else. This tiger is boring. Lin Yi said faintly. I already said that this tiger goes crazy easily. You don't believe me. Humph. This is just an accident. Zhang Duopan said. Let's go see the lion. This tiger is just It was fierce just now, but it was finished in one shot. Although Bai Weituo and others didn't answer, they still despised Zhang Duopan. In Meiyue's eyes, her impression of Zhang Duopan was getting worse and worse. This guy was simply an arrogant playboy. He wasn't a suitable companion at all. When everyone got in the car, Uncle Yen breathed a sigh of relief. He quickly started the car and went out of the domestication area. They went to the lion and tiger breeding area. This was a pure wild area. The lions and tigers here were wild. Even the ordinary staff didn't dare to get out of the car. Only those professionals wearing professional equipment and holding tranquilizer guns dared to get out. As for tourists, they were forbidden to feed the animals through the car window. This was enough to show the danger of this area. This is the lion and tiger breeding area. There is a lion king here. In the past, the most powerful one here was a tiger, but recently, the garden bought a lion. This lion became the king here. Uncle Yen explained while driving, this lion has a very high IQ. When it came, it had a lot of underlings. The previous tiger king also became the lion's underling. This lion is quite powerful. Could it be the legendary Lion King? Zhang Duopan deliberately said in order to divert everyone's attention. You can say that. Uncle Yen nodded. If we're lucky, we'll be able to see the Lion King. Here, the car was equipped with GPS, tranquilizer guns, and emergency satellite phones. This was also to prevent the car from breaking down, so that reinforcements could come in time. This was because this was the primeval forest breeding area. The area was very wide, unlike the previous sightseeing areas where there were many sightseeing cars. Here, most tourists chose to take the cable car to see the scenery of the lion and tiger breeding area. Almost no sightseeing cars drove here. This was also for the safety of tourists. Of course, there was also a small number of adventurous tourists who would choose to come here by car. However, these tourists would buy insurance and sign an agreement before coming in. After all, this was not a joke. If the car overturned or broke down, there might really be a problem. Lions and tigers can coexist? How interesting! He Mei Wei and Xiaoling exclaimed. Xinyan and Miss, on the other hand, didn't say anything. The two looked out the window quietly. Xinyan had a lot on her mind, and Miss was observing Xinyan, trying to see if she could become Lin Yi's girlfriend. Yushu, on the other hand, was a heartless girl. She kept screaming along the way, especially when it came to tigers and lions. Wow, everyone's in luck. That lion in front is the Lion King, but it's very strong. We'll watch from afar to avoid danger. Uncle Yen said. Not far ahead, on the highest rock is the Lion King, and around it are its underlings. Do you see the biggest tiger? That was the Tiger King before, but now it's the Lion King's underling. Target equals _blank. Chapter 2029. Chapter 2042. The depressed lion, huh? What the fuck? What a coincidence. Yushu's eyes widened as she looked at the lion on the rock. Because, according to her observation, this lion seemed to be the lion she sold to Jiangwen. However, why did this lion come here? What's wrong? Lin Yi didn't pay attention to the situation outside the window. Lin Yi didn't care about the Lion King at all. Lin Yi had seen this kind of animal many times in the African grasslands and forests, so it wasn't strange at all. That lion. Why does it look like our families? Yushu pointed at the Lion King. Lin Yi raised his head in surprise and looked at the direction Yushu was pointing at. He saw a familiar silhouette. It was the lion that he used to sleep with Huli. Lin Yi didn't like this lion that bullied the weak and feared the strong, so he didn't give it much strength. Yushu sold it off, so Lin Yi didn't care about it at all. However, this lion trained with General Wei Wu and Skybolt Pig, so it did look like a spiritual beast. It wasn't very strong, but it had the strength of a half-step golden class physical practitioner. It was nothing in front of General Wei Wu and Skybolt Pig, let alone in front of Lin Yi. But in a place like this lion relied on its strength and intelligence developed by General Wei Wu and Skybolt Pig to become the overlord here. As expected, Lin Yi nodded. Drive over, I want to see that Lion King. Yushu said to the driver. Drive over? Isn't that a little dangerous? After Uncle Yen experienced the tiger going crazy, he became more cautious. He turned to look at Zhang Duopan. Young Master Zhang, shall we drive over? Zhang Duopan was still scared. He was in the car, but he was still afraid. He was a little hesitant. Zhang Duopan, did you get scared just now? Now you don't even dare to approach the tiger in the car? Bai Weitua would not let go of any opportunity to attack Zhang Duopan, who asked this guy to laugh at him before. Who said I was scared? Previously that tiger went crazy. I'm not afraid of tigers, I'm just afraid of mad tigers. Zhang Duopan waved his hand and said, Uncle Yen, let's drive. The girls in the car are not afraid. What are we afraid of? All right. Uncle Yen nodded, started the car, and approached the Lion King. The Lion King was not afraid of the approaching car at all, and the Tiger King's little brother even roared fiercely at the Hummer, not putting it in his eyes at all. Instead, it had an imposing manner as if it was asking for something delicious. Although tourists were prohibited from feeding the tigers, drivers were allowed to feed the tigers and lions. Of course, tourists had to pay for this. Stop the car, open the door, I'm going down. Yushu said suddenly. Ah! Uncle Yan's eyes widened at Yushu's words. What was Yushu doing? Getting off here? Wasn't she looking for death? Even if he was a tamer, a professional, he didn't dare get off here. When he fed the tigers and lions, he would throw the meat out through the gaps of the window. He didn't dare to be careless, and Yushu, a girl, wanted to get off? Shield bro, will you come with me? Yushu suddenly realized that something wasn't right. The lion had already been sold, and it was now the king of this place. No matter how much she messed around, she couldn't risk her life. She turned to Lin Yi. Okay. Lin Yi said faintly, without a trace of fear or obstruction. Even if Lin Yi didn't know these lions and tigers, these beasts wouldn't dare hurt Lin Yi and the people he was protecting. There was no other reason. Years of fighting in the jungle had given Lin Yi a killing aura. As long as the tigers and lions weren't idiots, they wouldn't do anything when they sensed Lin Yi's aura. This was just like General Wei Wu, who chose to retreat the first time he saw Lin Yi. Go Huli, that lion, was also scared by Lin Yi. Lin Yi's reply wasn't loud, but everyone in the car heard it clearly, especially Zhang Duopan. He looked at Lin Yi as if he was looking at an idiot. Even if Lin Yi liked Yushu and wanted to get on her good side, there was no need for him to accompany her to death, was there? In the domestication field, even the tigers might go crazy, let alone in a free-range breeding area. If they got out of the car, wouldn't they be eaten by the tigers and lions in an instant? But thinking back to the humiliation he'd suffered, Zhang Duopan didn't mind humiliating Lin Yi as well. If the two of them got eaten by the tigers after getting out of the car, then they couldn't blame anyone else. The tiger park would only have to pay some money, and everyone in the car could testify that they wanted to get out of the car. It had nothing to do with anyone else. With that thought, Zhang Duopan's lips curved into a cold smile. He didn't know why Lin Yi and Yushu were in such a rush to die, but since they wanted to die, he'd grant them their wish. Uncle Yen, the big hero, wants to get out of the car to observe Lion King up close. Let's stop the car and open the door. Okay, Master Zhang. Uncle Yan's order was to listen to Zhang Duopan's orders, and since Zhang Duopan wanted to stop the car, then so be it. If the people really got eaten, then Zhang Duopan would be the one paying for the compensation. Uncle Yen stopped the car and opened the door. Yushu got out of the car first, and Lin Yi naturally followed behind her. Yushu had only just gotten out of the car when the lions and tigers started getting restless, wanting to rush up and get rid of this delicacy. The lion behind them, however, paused when it saw Yushu, and shivered when it saw Lin Yi behind Yushu. Holy shit, Long Di Dong, these two weren't going to capture him, were they? The Lion King, General Wei Wu, and Skybolt Pig had been together for a long time, and while its strength hadn't increased that much, its intelligence had increased quite a bit. It was only natural that it knew how to scheme. This was an obvious sign of evolving into a spiritual beast. The Lion King, on the other hand, was having a great time in the tiger park. He had good food and drinks every day, and he had a bunch of lions and tigers as his lackeys. His life was perfect, and if he were to be captured, wouldn't he become the lowest existence in the family again? He wouldn't even be as good as a dog or a pig. He was a big lion after all. He was a super powerful existence, but in Lin Yi's house, he was living a life of oppression. Target equals _blank. Chapter 2030. Of course, let's not talk about the pig and dog that it treated as its underlings. Let's talk about the little girl in front of it. She was even more powerful. She was like a little devil. She made it perform acrobatics all day long, which really tired it out. So, the Lion King was very happy to be able to escape. Net. Yushu didn't have much strength, and the lion knew that she was just using Yushu's power to intimidate others. But Yushu had Lin Yi behind her, and he could kill it with a finger. It was only a matter of minutes, and the lion was smart enough not to mess with Yushu. At this moment, it saw that its underlings were going to eat Yushu and Lin Yi, and it was so scared that its heart almost exploded. It quickly roared, calling all of its underlings back. The underlings of the lion and tiger didn't understand why their king was calling them back, but they didn't dare disobey. Everyone in the car jumped at the Lion King's roar, especially Zhang Duopan. He looked at Lin Yi and Yushu with a gloating look. What a bunch of idiots, daring to look at the Lion King up close. They must be tired of living. Xinyan, who was sitting behind the car, finally loosened up a little. She frowned and looked at the calm Meng Yao beside her. Yao Yao, Lin Yi and Shu. It's fine, that lion used to belong to my family. Meng Yao, naturally, knew who the Lion King was. Net. Ah. The Lion King. Xinyan's mouth was wide open. Yeah. Meng Yao nodded. It's that Lion King. But Xinyan, you seem to care about him a lot, don't you? We're good friends, Xinyan said, a little embarrassed. Ha ha. Meng Yao smiled ambiguously and didn't say anything else. However, after interacting with each other along the way, the two of them had become more familiar with each other. They had changed from calling each other by their names to calling each other by their nicknames. You come here, Yushu said, pointing at the Lion King. She pointed at the Lion King. Quack. Zhang Duopan looked at the scene outside the car and found it unbelievable. Were these two mentally ill? How could he do such a stupid thing? Fan Gonha, on the other hand, was praying that the lions and tigers would eat Lin Yi and Yushu. That way, no one would be able to stop him from pursuing Xinyan. However, under everyone's shocked gazes, the Lion King ran strangely to Yushu. He shook his head as if he was trying to please Yushu. You stupid lion, you're doing quite well, huh? He's a Lion King now? Yushu said as she pulled on the lion's ear. Net. With Lin Yi by her side and Lin Yi not stopping her, Yushu was naturally very brave. Naturally, Yushu wouldn't do something so stupid if Lin Yi wasn't around. Woo-woo. The lion nodded its head cautiously. It was complaining incessantly in its heart. If it had known that the second young mistress would come today, it would have hidden itself. Now it was the butt of a gun. Look at your pitiful face. You think you're a Lion King? Yushu curled her lips. She looked down on the Lion King. The Lion King felt very wronged. It was true that it was a Lion King in front of others, but if it continued to be a king when you're here, wouldn't it be suicide? You're fine, you'll just pull on my ear, but the one beside you. She can send me to the Southern Skies Gate with one kick. However, Yushu had a purpose in coming here. She grew up with Meng Yao. The two were almost telepathic. Meng Yao went to talk to Xinyan, and Yushu understood that this Xinyan might become one of Shield Bro's girlfriends in the future. In actuality, Yushu didn't really care about how many girlfriends Lin Yi had. She was worried about Meng Yao's interests, and as for herself, Yushu didn't want to think about her own matters. And so, after understanding Meng Yao's feelings, she decided to help Lin Yi and Xinyan. Xinyan, however, had a rather annoying pursuer, and this person was ruining the relationship between Lin Yi and Xinyan. Yushu wasn't too happy about it, and so she wanted to find a chance to teach Fan Gonha a lesson. And now was the perfect opportunity. Yushu wouldn't have gotten out of the car to play with the Lion King otherwise. Fan Gonha, what are you doing in the car? Why aren't you getting out? I heard that Xinyan likes brave people. You're such a coward. Look at Shield Bro, he's not even afraid of lions. Yushu made a disdainful gesture at Fan Gonha. Lin Yi almost burst out laughing at Yushu's word. Why was she doing this again? Brave people? Didn't they say that Meng Yao liked brave people? Why was it Xinyan now? Fan Gonha was confused, and Yushu's disdain made him panic. Who said I'm not brave? How are you guys brave? There's something wrong with this lion, it doesn't even hurt people. Yeah, there's clearly something wrong with this lion. Zhang Duopan said. What kind of lion is this? Uncle Yen, are you sure you're not mistaken? Uncle Yen found it weird as well. This lion was clearly very docile, and it didn't bite at all. Why was it acting so happy when its ear was pulled? What a dumb lion. Isn't this a competition of bravery? I'm a sports student. You think I'm weaker than you? Fan Gonha made the decision. If Lin Yi and Yushu were fine, then he'd be fine as well. Lin Yi and Yushu, on the other hand, probably knew that there was something wrong with the lion, and that was why they dared to get off the car. It was just like how Zhang Duopan and the tamers said that they weren't afraid of the tiger. They were the ones who cheated, and so they naturally assumed that Lin Yi was cheating as well. With that, Fan Gonghe jumped off the car, and the moment he did so, Yushu whispered something to the lion, and the lion nodded quickly. But no one paid attention to this scene. How could a human talk to a lion? From their point of view, it was something impossible. In the car, Wang Xinyan heard Yushu say that she liked brave people. Since when did she like brave people? Lin Yi was brave. But Meng Yao smiled faintly. Shu wants to help you get rid of your pursuer, Fan Gonghe. Xinyan blinked, and understood what was going on when she saw Fan Gonghe getting off the car. Heh, you stupid lion, there's definitely something wrong with you. Speak, are you tamed? Fan Gonghe pointed at the lion as soon as he got off. Chapter 2031. The lion didn't dare make a sound when it was being bullied by Yushu and Lin Yi, but it was pissed off that it was being bullied by a random person out of nowhere. Still, it remembered Yushu's orders, and decided to endure the humiliation with a whimper, not doing anything to Fan Gonghe. This article is from the Literature Museum. Ha, I knew you were a coward. Fan Gonghe saw that the lion was being so cowardly, and he was excited. He was just testing the lion, and he didn't dare get too close to it. He realized that the lion really didn't have any attack power, and he was overjoyed. Woo-woo. The Lion King was scolded and could only let out a slight snort to express his dissatisfaction. Haha, as expected. Zhang bro, look at this lion, it's such a coward. Fan Gonghe walked over and forcefully pulled the fur on the lion's head, pulling off the lion's face. The lion didn't react at all, only grunting and whimpering. Lin Yi, you got yourself a lion with no attack power, and you're still boasting about your bravery? Zhang Duopan was pissed off from being chased by the tiger, and now that he could bully the lion, he jumped out of the car. Lin Yi, how is this bravery? If this is bravery, then I'm a warrior. Fan Gonghe punched the lion proudly. Net. Zhang Duopan saw that the lion didn't resist at all, and went to pull its ear. As expected, this lion is so tame. Mei Yue, look at how brave I am, I actually dared to fight the lion. You two idiots. It's the lion that's afraid of Shield Bro, okay? Do you really think the lion is afraid of you? Yushu rolled her eyes at Zhang Duopan and Fan Gonghe. Ha! Who would believe you? Fan Gonghe looked at Yushu with a mocking face. Do you think I'm an idiot, or is Zhang Bro an idiot? This lion is afraid of Lin Yi? That's right, this is the funniest joke I've ever heard. Do you think lions are humans, that they can understand you? You're an idiot. Zhang Duopan didn't believe it either. Forget it, since you don't believe me. Shield Bro. Let's get in the car and let these two die here. Yushu shook her head and sighed. Lin Yi nodded. He didn't say much and got in the car with Yushu. What do you think? Fan Gonghe proudly went to pull the lion's ear again, but in the next moment, the lion's eyes widened. He felt that something was wrong. This was because the lion's eyes suddenly turned sharp. Roar! The Lion King bit Fan Gonghe's arm. It directly bit through his clothes and tore off a piece of skin from his neck. Yushu was telling it to calm down when Lin Yi was here, and that it could punish Fan Gonghe and Zhang Duopan when Lin Yi wasn't here. Ah! Fan Gonghe screamed. He didn't expect the lion to suddenly change its face and bite people without any warning. However, seeing that Fan Gonghe was bitten, Zhang Duopan wanted to escape, but it was too late. Because he was the lion's next target. After the lion bit Fan Gonghe, it turned to Zhang Duopan and bit his butt. Not only did it tear through his pants, but it also bit off a piece of flesh from his butt. He cried out in pain, and tears almost came out. However, the intense pain made their minds clear. They didn't care about the pain anymore and ran to the car like crazy, their faces extremely pale. However, the severe pain also made the two of them instantly sober up. They couldn't care less about the pain and ran into the car crazily. Their faces became extremely pale. Man, I told you, the lion is afraid of Shield Bro, but you didn't believe me and went down to pretend to be brave. In the end, you're finished, aren't you? Yushu said with a gloating expression. The people in the car were speechless. They didn't know what was going on. Yushu's words sounded reasonable, But if the lion was afraid of Lin Yi and not Zhang Duopan and Fan Gonha, it was a little too unbelievable. How could the lion tell who was stronger? Plus, after Lin Yi got off the car, he didn't even fight with the lion. Why would the lion be afraid of Lin Yi? Wasn't this baffling? You guys played dirty. Zhang Duopan was about to cry from the pain, but he knew that if he cried now, Meiwei would definitely look down on him. He endured the pain and scolded, "Did you guys do it on purpose?" "On purpose? Are you retarded? I told you that the lion was afraid of Shield Bro. If you didn't believe me, just stand there and die. But you guys didn't believe me, so who can you blame?" Yushu said innocently. Zhang Duopan wanted to say something, but after thinking about it carefully, he realized that what Yushu said was true. It was indeed him and Fan Gonha who didn't believe him. But the more Zhang Duopan thought about it, the more he felt that something was wrong. Why was the lion afraid of Lin Yi? That wasn't possible, right? The lion wasn't a human. Why would it be afraid of a tourist? Plus, this didn't make sense. Zhang Duopan's heart was racing. It wasn't that the lion was afraid of Lin Yi, but that Lin Yi and Yushu had grasped some kind of pattern. Right, that had to be it. They had been provoking the lion before, but since the lion was a lion king, it had a bottom line. It didn't care about their provocation, and it didn't want to lower itself to the level of Lin Yi and Yushu. After that, everyone started to abuse and offend it, and the lion was offended to a certain extent. Even if it was a lion king, it couldn't take it anymore and finally went crazy. But before it went crazy, Lin Yi and Yushu must have noticed something, and so they got on the car first, saying things like the lion was afraid of Lin Yi, and so Zhang Duopan and Fan Gonha didn't notice it in time. That had to be it. Otherwise, why would the lion only take a bite out of him and Fan Gonha? If he wanted to kill them instantly, it would be a matter of minutes, but the Lion King did not do so, which meant that the Lion King was still very arrogant. He did not want to lower himself to the level of people like them who did not have the ability to attack. In the end, he was forced into a corner and only said those words to scare them. With that thought, Zhang Duopan felt that he'd grasped the pattern. He didn't want to be the one to suffer, so he turned to Lin Yi and Yushu. "Didn't you say that the lion was scared of Lin Yi? If you have the guts, why don't you get off the car and try again?" "Why should we get off? You want us to get off just because you want us to? It's so tiring to get on and off," Yushu said disdainfully. Are you scared now? Now that the lion's pissed off, you guys must be too scared to get off. Fan Gonha said mockingly. "Didn't you say that Xinyan likes brave people? Lin Yi, if you dare to get out of the car now, I'll admit that you're a brave man." Chapter 2032. You'll stop harassing Xinyan if I get out? And you'll give up on Meiwei too? Lin Yi looked at Zhang Duopan and Fan Gonha. If you get out, and we don't dare to get out, then we'll admit defeat." Zhang Duopan didn't make it clear that if Lin Yi got out, then they'd do the same. If Lin Yi got out and the lion caught up, then the bet wouldn't count. Lin Yi got in the car because of the lion, so there was no point in him being brave anymore. "Oh shoo, let's go see the lion then," Lin Yi said. Okay. Yushu nodded. "This lion seems to be living a good life, and it's even a king. I wonder if it has any treasures to give me?" And so, the two got out of the car. Zhang Duopan and Fan Gonha, on the other hand, were waiting for the lion to go crazy again and bite Lin Yi and Yushu. But there was a big difference between wishes and reality. Lin Yi and Yushu got out of the car, and the raging lion suddenly became docile again. It had a smile on its face, looking harmless, as if it wasn't the one going crazy earlier. "Bite him! Bite them!" Zhang Duopan called out in his mind, but the lion didn't listen to him at all. "Hey lion, you seem to be living a good life here. Don't you have any treasures to give me?" Yushu asked. "Woo." The lion knew that Yushu was up to no good, so she started asking for treasures. But the lion didn't dare defy it. Yushu's anger wouldn't be a joke if he didn't give it to her, especially Lin Yi, who was beside him. He'd probably die if the girl gave him a beating, and he'd never be able to be the Lion King again. Thinking of this, the lion hurriedly ran back to its nest at the back of its territory. It carefully found something and held it in its mouth. Then, it ran back and raised its head like it was presenting a treasure. Yushu stretched her hand out, and the lion spat the thing out. It was a round milky white orb that looked like a pearl, but wasn't. It looked like a gemstone, but wasn't. It was a weird thing, and Yushu couldn't figure out what it was even after looking at it for a while. What is this? You stupid lion. Don't tell me you tricked me with a piece of trash? Yushu wasn't expecting the lion to really take out a treasure, but she didn't know if it was a treasure or what it was for. Woo. The lion put on a sad face after hearing Yushu's words. It didn't know how to speak human language, or else it would have explained that this was a treasure the Tiger King found in the primeval forest, and that he gave it to it after he became king. It was really something good. Let me see. Lin Yi frowned as he took the white orb from Yushu's hands and looked at it carefully. This thing should be a treasure. No doubt about it. It wasn't that Lin Yi trusted the lion, but that he sensed a powerful energy within the white bead the moment it appeared. He didn't know what kind of energy it was or what it was used for, but he didn't know yet. Shield bro, can you tell what this is? Yushu asked curiously. Not at the moment, but I'll keep it. Lin Yi said as he put the orb in his pocket. Zhang Duopan and Fan Ganhe saw the lion give the orb to Lin Yi and Yushu, but their eyes told them that it wasn't a jewel or a pearl. It looked more like a useless rock, and they didn't pay much attention to it. What they were curious about was why the lion seemed to have become so docile again. Could it be that the lion had a mental disorder and had a dual personality? Zhang Duopan, Fan Ganhe, I'm getting off the car. What do you guys have to say? Lin Yi was shocked as to where the lion got such a treasure from, but he pretended like he didn't care as he changed the topic to Zhang Duopan and Fan Ganhe. That doesn't mean anything. We'd get off the car too. Zhang Duopan's confidence returned after seeing that Lin Yi and Yushu were fine. He forgot about the pain and decided to get off the car to check it out. Oh, you guys get off then. Don't blame me for not warning you if you get bitten again. Yushu said. This lion's only afraid of Shield bro, not you guys. Fuck. You think a lion's IQ is high enough to know who it's afraid of? Zhang Duopan didn't believe Yushu at all. I say, this lion must have some kind of mental disorder. You guys have some kind of pattern, that's why you're acting like this. Holy shit. Yushu's eyes went wide as she looked at Zhang Duopan. How is it? Surprised, right? I guessed it right? Zhang Duopan was even more sure that he was right after seeing Yushu's expression. No, I just think that your thinking is too fantastical. You can go to Hollywood now. Yushu said. It doesn't matter if you don't admit it. Ganhe, let's get off the car. Zhang Duopan wanted to get off the car first, but he suddenly remembered that his butt was still exposed. When he got on the car, he was facing the people in the car. It was fine, but when he turned around and got off the car, his butt was exposed. Student Zhang really knows how to act like a gangster. Bai Weitua curled his lips. There's a girl in the car. Ugh. Zhang Duopan had forgotten about the pain in his butt. As a result, he was reminded, and the pain was unbearable. But at this time, he couldn't show it. That would be a bit too cowardly. He could only take off his clothes and wrap it around his waist. He said, sorry. Fan Ganhe was a sports student, and getting hurt in fights was a common occurrence. He could take the bite on his arm and nodded before getting off the car with Zhang Duopan. But they didn't expect tragedy to befall them as soon as they got off the car. The originally docile lion suddenly pounced at Zhang Duopan. Fuck. Zhang Duopan hadn't even finished getting out of the car. When he saw the lion pouncing at him, he was so scared that he hurriedly dodged backward. As a result, he accidentally fell on his butt in the car. With a wail, his butt fell to the ground and touched his wound. The pain was excruciating. Fan Ganhe, on the other hand, was better off. He was behind Zhang Duopan, and although he was knocked into by Zhang Duopan, he didn't suffer much. Chapter 2033. That posture was like a victor looking down on a weakling. Zhang Duopan's face turned red and white. The lion's actions confirmed Yushu's words. The lion was afraid of Lin Yi, but not him. He was attacked as soon as he got out of the car, and Lin Yi had been standing there for a long time. The lion was just trying to please him, and this almost made Zhang Duopan speechless. How could this lion tell who was stronger? But Zhang Duopan didn't see anything special about Lin Yi and Yushu. But Zhang Duopan didn't want to keep his word. He laughed it off. My butt hurts like hell, and it looks really bad. I can't even walk properly. I can't get out of the car. Uncle Yen, let's go. I'm going to the hospital. Zhang Duopan, do you mean what you said before? Stay away from He Meiyue from now on? Bai Weitua asked. What I said before. I dare get out of the car too, but my butt hurts so I can't walk. It doesn't count as my loss. I just want to go to the hospital. Zhang Duopan said. Bai Weitua, you wouldn't put a patient in a difficult position, would you? Bai Weitua looked at Zhang Duopan with disdain. This guy was obviously using this as an excuse to not acknowledge the previous bet. However, Bai Weitua had a certain degree of understanding of Zhang Duopan's repeated reneging. This guy was thick-skinned and always found an excuse to go back on his word. Bai Weitua didn't want to say anything more. Lin Yi smiled coldly as he got in the car with Yushu. As for Zhang Duopan and Fan Gonha, Lin Yi didn't care anymore. All he cared about was that white bead. He wanted to go back and see what it was. But if it wasn't for Yushu's luck, this thing would have been buried in the Lion King's hands. So when Zhang Duopan asked to leave, Lin Yi didn't say anything. When he got in the car, Lin Yi saw the miss talking to Wang Xinyan about something. Lin Yi was a little puzzled by the scene. The two weren't that close, were they? Could it be that it had become better along the way? Xinyan smiled at Meng Yao's words. The two seemed to be getting along quite well, and that surprised Lin Yi, but he didn't try to eavesdrop on their conversation. Everyone had their own secrets, and Lin Yi wouldn't try to eavesdrop on the conversation between Meng Yao and Yushu. At first, when Lin Yi saw the miss and Xinyan sitting together, he thought that the miss didn't have any close friends in the car, and that Xinyan was the only female acquaintance other than Yushu, so he just sat next to her. But now it seemed like it was all planned. The car started moving slowly. Uncle Yen was confused as to why the lion had chosen Zhang Duopan and Fan Gonha instead of Lin Yi and Yushu, but he couldn't bring himself to ask after looking at Zhang Duopan's pathetic face. Since Zhang Duopan didn't pursue the matter, Uncle Yen naturally wouldn't meddle in his own affairs. He didn't want Mr. Su to blame him for not being a good host. Zhang Duopan and Fan Gonha were feeling very wronged. They could endure the physical pain, but the mental pain was breaking them down. They felt that it was strange and unjustified. Why did the lion not bite Lin Yi and Yushu, and even give them a stupid bead? Naturally, Zhang Duopan didn't think that there would be any treasures in the tiger park. After all, this was a scenic area. How could there be treasures? It was probably a big marble or a toy ball thrown by a tourist, and the lion thought it was something good. But no matter what it was, the lion's behavior was strange. Even now, Zhang Duopan still thought that Lin Yi had mastered some kind of pattern, or that Lin Yi had mastered the way to communicate with the lion, and that was why the lion didn't bite him. Zhang Duopan and Fan Gonha, on the other hand, didn't have this skill, and that was why they ended up in such a tragedy. Some people are not brave, but they pretend to be brave, and in the end, they got bitten by the lion, right? Yushu mocked. He Meiyue, see? Can you entrust your life to this kind of man? He's nothing compared to Shield Bro. Of course, Shield Bro can't be given to you, so you can only settle for second best. Bai Weitua is not bad. He Meiyue didn't know whether to laugh or cry after hearing Yushu's words. Lin Yi was indeed outstanding, and if Wang Xinyan wasn't there, she wouldn't mind taking the initiative to pursue him. But with Wang Xinyan's appearance, especially with Meng Yao and Yushu by Lin Yi's side, He Meiyue paled in comparison. She knew her place, and although Zhang Duopan and Bai Weitua were infatuated with her, Lin Yi wouldn't have any feelings for her at all. So He Meiyue wouldn't be delusional. She could only settle for second best, and set her sights on Zhang Duopan and Bai Weitua, her two pursuers. But He Meiyue didn't want to give up her lifelong happiness so early, so she was considering. Zhang Duopan's playboy aura was too strong, but that wasn't what He Meiyue disliked. What He Meiyue feared the most was that Zhang Duopan would play around with her, and then dump her when he was bored. Plus, Zhang Duopan was a bit unreliable. Although his family was rich, he liked to cause trouble. Bai Weitua, on the other hand, didn't have such bad habits, but his family didn't seem to be very rich. Although Bai Weitua and Zhang Duopan had the upper hand in a few confrontations, He Meiyue wasn't an idiot. She knew that the reason why Bai Weitua had the upper hand was because of Lin Yi. It was the same with the drinking competition, the freshman party, and this trip to the Tiger Park. If it wasn't for Lin Yi, the one who would be embarrassed wouldn't be Zhang Duopan and Fan Gonha, but Bai Weitua. Bai Weitua had rushed out the moment the tiger pounced on them. That was definitely because he saw that the tiger was tamed, and that was why he dared to push Bai Weitua out. It wasn't Bai Weitua's intention. Of course, although he Mei Yue didn't see what happened when the tiger went crazy, it was most likely Lin Yi's doing. Otherwise, why would Lin Yi pull Bai Weitua to the back after helping him up? In the end, the powerful person wasn't Bai Weitua, but Lin Yi. So this was the reason why he Mei Yue didn't accept Bai Weitua. Lin Yi couldn't always help him, right? If Lin Yi wasn't by his side, his good luck would come to an end. Whether it was the drinking competition, the freshman party, or even the trip to the tiger park, he would lose miserably. Target equals _blank. Chapter 2034. If Lin Yi knew how much he Mei Yue was thinking, he'd be shocked. How scheming was this girl? Of course, it didn't have much to do with Lin Yi, since Lin Yi didn't like her in the first place. Zhang Duopan and Fan Ganha were both injured, and so the two hurried to see the doctor after leaving the tiger park. Lin Yi and the others didn't go anywhere else either, and went straight back to school. Xinyan was getting out of the car in the school parking lot when the miss winked at her. Tell me if you have any thoughts. Ah. Xinyan blushed, not daring to look at the Mississippi. She walked away quickly with her head down. Lin Yi, on the other hand, didn't know what was going on. What were these two talking about? What did they mean by having thoughts? What thoughts could Xinyan possibly have? And so on the way home, Lin Yi asked curiously, Yao Yao, what did you say to Xinyan? Nothing much, just getting to know each other a little. I told her to come visit when she's free. Meng Yao said faintly. Visit? Lin Yi felt strange. Wasn't the Miss and Shu not too friendly with Xinyan? Why did it change all of a sudden? Lin Yi didn't know that Meng Yao was just getting over it. Since Lin Yi was looking for a big wife, it'd be better for him to get one from someone he was familiar with. If he got an unfamiliar domineering girl, she and Yushu wouldn't be at a disadvantage, but it'd affect their mood. Meng Yao didn't reply and changed the topic. By the way, Lin Yi, what did that lion give you in Shu? It doesn't look like anything good. I don't know, but it's definitely something good. Lin Yi said. There's a lot of energy in that thing, let's get an expert to take a look. Ah, it's really good stuff. Yushu was just casually trying to blackmail the lion, not expecting it to actually give her something good. Could it be an energy ball? Energy ball. Lin Yi was stunned. I don't know, but this energy is different from the spiritual energy of the world. Even if it's an energy ball, it's not an ordinary energy ball. That is indeed a fortuitous encounter. Meng Yao said, this trip to the tiger park wasn't that interesting, but you got something good, so it wasn't a wasted trip. Yeah, it's an unexpected surprise. I'm just accompanying Bai Weitua. He is Boss Bai's grandson. Boss Bai treats me well, so I have to help him. Lin Yi said, when he catches up with he Mei Yue, I won't get involved. Shield bro, I don't think that he Mei Yue is a good person. Yushu said. Shu, don't talk nonsense. Meng Yao frowned. Although she wasn't friends with he Mei Yue, she didn't have any bad feelings towards her. It wasn't appropriate for Yushu to slander others. I'm not talking nonsense. Yushu said, I just think that he Mei Yue is very scheming. But she's still a little worse than you, right? Meng Yao said. Not really. Yushu was embarrassed and shut her mouth. He Mei Yue doesn't have much to do with us. It's fine as long as Bai Weitua likes her. As long as she doesn't do anything bad to Bai Weitua, there's no need for us to interfere. Lin Yi shrugged and smiled. Besides, it's not a bad thing for a girl to be a little scheming, right, Shu? Oh, how would I know? Yushu looked like she lost. Lin Yi drove the car back to the villa, but when he got close to the villa, he saw Han Jingjing standing in the yard looking around. She ran over excitedly when she saw Lin Yi's car. Han Jingjing's actions made Lin Yi, Yushu, and Meng Yao curious. What was this girl doing standing in the yard in the cold? Although it wasn't that cold yet, the weather in November was still very cold. If Han Jingjing stood in the courtyard alone for a long time, she would definitely catch a cold. Han Jingjing, what are you doing? Lin Yi got out of the car and asked curiously. Lin Yi bro, you're back. I'm waiting for the car. Han Jingjing said. Waiting for the car? Lin Yi was speechless. Waiting for my car? Are you going out? No, I'm waiting for your car to come back. I have something to talk to you about. Han Jingjing said. But you don't have to wait in the yard. Aren't you afraid of catching a cold? Lin Yi didn't know what to say to Han Jingjing's actions. Jingjing's not afraid of catching a cold. Lin Yi bro's really good at treating colds, and it feels really good too. Last time Jingjing got a bunch of water, it felt really good. Han Jingjing said. Ahem. Lin Yi choked on Han Jingjing's words. Why did Han Jingjing's words have so many different meanings? Oh. Yushu looked at Lin Yi strangely as well. Shield bro, didn't you say you didn't touch her last time? Why would she feel good and get water? Meng Yao wasn't as bold as Yushu, asking everything out loud. She frowned as she looked at Lin Yi, puzzled. She was just thinking about accepting Xinyan, but why did it seem like Lin Yi was interested in Han Jingjing instead? Acupuncture. She got sweaty and took a shower, so it felt good. Lin Yi explained, sweating. Yushu and Meng Yao were speechless. It was hard not to think dirty thoughts from Han Jingjing's words. Lin Yi bro, what's wrong with them? Why are you looking at Jingjing with that weird look? Is there something on Jingjing's face? Han Jingjing asked curiously. No. Let's not talk about that. Why are you waiting for me here? Lin Yi didn't want to continue the topic. Right. Jingjing almost forgot something important. Han Jingjing lowered her voice. Lin Yi bro, Jingjing made a refinement fire. Wah! Lin Yi's jaw almost dropped. Refinement fire? It had only been a few days, and Han Jingjing had already made it? What's wrong, Lin Yi bro? Is Jingjing stupid? It's been so many days. Han Jingjing looked at Lin Yi innocently. But Jingjing's been working so hard. That refinement fire practitioner's arts went through Jingjing's calculations and scientific optimizations. That's why I was able to make it today. It would have taken me a long time otherwise. Chapter 2035. Lin Yi had the urge to kill himself after hearing Han Jingjing's words. He'd rather die than live. He was an idiot among idiots. Han Jingjing was able to condense her refinement fire in just a few days. One had to know that she started off as a normal person. She had to first become a practitioner and condense her qi, successfully crossing from a normal person to a golden class early phase master. Although it was relatively easy for a normal person to cross from a normal person to a golden class with the help of a refiner's art, it would take at most 1 or 2 years, at least 1 or 2 months. But that was still 1 or 2 months. Han Jingjing had only done it for a few days. Even if Han Jingjing was a golden class now, it didn't mean that she had the strength of a golden class master. But it was still shocking to Lin Yi. Yao, Shu, you guys go back to the villa first. I have something to talk to Jing. Lin Yi took a deep breath, suppressing his shock as he spoke to Meng Yao and Yushu. There are no outsiders in our villa, let Jingjing come in too. Meng Yao wasn't someone who didn't see the big picture. If Han Jingjing really could concoct pills, then it'd solve a lot of Lin Yi's problems. She'd be of great help to him, and so Meng Yao decided that she'd have to build a good relationship with this girl next door. Sure. Lin Yi nodded and said to Han Jingjing, let's talk at my house. Okay, I haven't been to Lin Yi, Big Bro's house yet. I'll go now. Han Jingjing nodded and was about to enter the villa with Lin Yi when she slapped her forehead. Wait, Jingjing's tablet isn't here yet. I'll go get it. After saying that, Han Jingjing ran back to her villa again. Not long after, she appeared in front of everyone again with a tablet in her arms. Wow, Lin Yi, Big Bro, your villa is so cozy. Han Jingjing said in surprise as soon as she entered the door. It's not as luxurious as yours. Lin Yi smiled. But Jingjing doesn't like those retro decorations. Han Jingjing shook her head. Jingjing, come to my room. Lin Yi's attention was not on the decorations. What Lin Yi wanted to see the most was whether Han Jingjing could really condense the pill fire. Okay. Han Jingjing nodded. Meng Yao and Yushu, on the other hand, didn't disturb him. They didn't know how to concoct pills at all, and they didn't want to join in the fun. They waited quietly in the living room. Brother Lin Yi, is this your room? It's so cozy. Jingjing wants to move in. Han Jingjing looked at Lin Yi's room, and her eyes immediately revealed a look of love. Okay, feel free to sit. Lin Yi smiled. As for moving here, forget it. If you like it, I'll get someone to renovate your villa. Then don't trouble yourself. Han Jingjing shook her head and took off her shoes. She curled up her legs and sat on Lin Yi's bed. You can already condense a pill flame? Does that mean you're a golden class now? Lin Yi asked. Yeah, according to that refiner's arts, Jing should be at the early phase of the golden class. I'm just at the entry level. Han Jing nodded. Entry. A few days of golden class. Lin Yi took a deep breath and sighed. I'm really surprised. Jing, you're amazing. Lin Yi didn't pay much attention when he was outside, but now that he was in the room, Lin Yi could tell that Han Jing really did have the spiritual strength of the early phase of the golden class. It wasn't much of a help in actual combat, but Han Jing was a solid golden class. Is Jing really that amazing? Han Jing touched her blushing cheeks, a little embarrassed, as if she'd gotten a compliment from Lin Yi. Jing thought I was stupid. No, you're not. You're one of the strongest prodigies I've ever seen. Lin Yi thought that Zhang Naipeo and Xiaoxiao were prodigies too, right? Their speed was also very fast. Jing is so happy. Jing was very nervous before this. Han Jing said happily. Lin Yi bro, then Jing will show you how to condense a pill flame now, okay? Okay, go ahead. Lin Yi nodded with a serious face. Yeah. Han Jing also withdrew her joyful expression. Her originally adorable little face also became incomparably solemn. She extended her right hand and in a split second, a bright red flame appeared out of thin air in her palm. This was a fire element pill flame. That fast? Lin Yi's eyes widened as if he had seen a ghost. This speed was much faster than Lin Yi's condensing speed. But one had to know that the refinement fire formula Boss Bai gave him was much more complicated than the one he got from Zhang Liju. It required the qi to circulate through all the meridians in the body for a long time before the refinement fire could be formed in the palm. But Han Jing didn't wait that long, and the refinement fire appeared in her palm right away. This was unbelievable to Lin Yi. What kind of speed was Han Jing at? That's already fast? Jing feels like it's still a bit slow. Han Jing put away the refinement fire in her hand. That's slow. Lin Yi's self-esteem took a huge hit. This Han Jing was a monster. But Lin Yi couldn't understand why Han Jing's refinement fire was so fast. One had to know that according to Boss Bai's formula, it was already very fast to condense the refinement fire in 3 minutes. 5 minutes was the normal time. Although the formula he got from Zhang Liju's tomb was faster than this, it would normally take around a minute or 30 to 50 seconds. But it wasn't as fast as Han Jing, who could condense the refinement fire in 20 seconds. Of course, the speed at which the alchemy fire was condensed had nothing to do with alchemy. This was because alchemy was a quiet and patient job. It could not be rushed. One had to be fully prepared before they could concentrate on refining the alchemy in seclusion until the alchemy was completed or failed. So when the refinement started, the speed of condensing the refinement fire didn't matter at all. Tens of seconds or tens of minutes were the same, as long as the refinement fire was formed. This was also the reason why Boss Bai didn't learn any other after he got used to this formula. After all roads lead to Rome. The only difference was the speed, but the result was the same. There was no need for Boss Bai to study other formulas. Chapter 2036. However, Lin Yi was very puzzled. How did Han Jing do it? Jing doesn't know either. Jing thought it was still a bit slow. Han Jing said, Jing, how did you do it? From what I know, the mantra I gave you to condense the fire requires at least 3 minutes to condense the fire, right? How did you do it in 20 seconds? Lin Yi was full of doubts. That's because Jing modified the mantra for congealing the core fire. Han Jing said, it did take 3 minutes before, but Jing thought it was too slow. I was afraid that when I demonstrated it to Big Brother Lin Yi Big Brother would get impatient or think that Jing was too stupid and ignore me in the future. So Jing changed the mantra for condensing the fire. This thing can be changed? Lin Yi felt like he was about to explode. His endurance was reaching its limit. Yes. Han Jing nodded matter-of-factly. Then, she quickly opened the tablet and pulled up a picture. It was a meridian diagram of the human body. After enlarging it, she explained to Lin Yi, Big Brother Lin Yi, look. The mantra for condensing the fire was like this. It guided the true qi in the body through this main meridian, and then through this meridian to the qi high acupoint. But according to Jing's judgment, if the true qi didn't go this way, but this meridian, and split into 3 small streams of true qi, passing through a few small meridians near the main meridian, and then to this meridian before finally returning to the qi high acupoint, then the speed would be much faster. Although the cross-section of these small meridians is small, their length is shorter than the main meridian. Also, the true qi is split into 3 streams, passing through 3 small meridians. This way, the time is even shorter. Finally, the true qi will gather in this meridian and reach the qi high acupoint, saving some time. Similarly, the other meridians are the same. After listening to Han Jingjing's explanation, Lin Yi was so shocked that his eyeballs almost popped out. This works too? This Han Jingjing was really scientific in alchemy. She could even think of this method. It could simply be described as shocking. Jingjing, you're amazing. Lin Yi looked at Han Jingjing's tablet and was speechless for a long time. After a while, he came back to his senses and spat out these words. Really? Big brother Lin Yi, you're the best. Jingjing also feels very awesome after being praised by you. Han Jingjing tilted her head and the corners of her mouth curled up into a beautiful arc. 2 dimples appeared on her beautiful and fair face. She was obviously very happy. Lin Yi took a deep breath and nodded. Jingjing, you really are a genius. Actually, my family always praises me, but I don't know if they're really praising me or just spoiling me. But Lin Yi Big Bro's words definitely won't be false. Han Jingjing said happily. Actually, in Jingjing's eyes, this refinement fire condensing chant is a bit complicated. Some of the steps can be skipped, but Jingjing doesn't have the time to analyze and test them one by one. Right now, Jingjing is just shortening some of the qi's path. After hearing Han Jingjing's words, Lin Yi's heart skipped a beat. The one he had in his hand was Zhang Liju's refinement fire condensing arts, but it wasn't as complicated as Boss Bai's. It was probably what Han Jingjing had said, removing some useless steps. If he gave that refinement fire condensing arts to Han Jingjing, who knew what kind of shocking things this genius girl could create? But Lin Yi temporarily suppressed that idea. After all, shortening the condensing time didn't have much use for real elixir refinement, unless it was a competition with a fixed time, or in some emergency situation. The rest was just showing off in front of other refiners. Other than that, the condensing time of the refinement fire really didn't have any other uses. That was all Lin Yi could think of. Jingjing, other than condensing the refinement fire, can you also change the intensity and temperature of the refinement fire? Lin Yi asked. I can. Han Jingjing's reply made Lin Yi's heart tighten again. If it weren't for Lin Yi's strong will, he would have been beaten black and blue by now. I can? Then show me. Lin Yi said. Okay. Han Jingjing nodded and put down the tablet. She reached out her right hand again, and very quickly, the refinement fire appeared again. But this time, after the refinement fire appeared, Han Jingjing began to control it, making it grow stronger and stronger. Hiss. Lin Yi took in a cold breath as he looked at Han Jingjing's right hand. He wanted to cut it off and put it on his own. Lin Yi was also a dabbler refiner, and naturally, he could clearly feel the fire growing stronger and stronger. What shocked Lin Yi wasn't just that Han Jingjing could change the intensity of the fire, but the precision of Han Jingjing's control. The fire was changing bit by bit, becoming stronger and stronger, and not that kind of big and small. This meant that Han Jingjing could already change the intensity of the fire as she pleased. As expected, the refinement fire on Han Jingjing's right hand gradually became smaller and smaller, smaller and smaller, until it was so weak that it was about to be extinguished, but it didn't go out. It was obvious that Han Jingjing's control was more precise. What about the temperature? Lin Yi took a deep breath and continued to ask. It can also. At this moment, Han Jingjing's forehead had formed a thin layer of sweat. Obviously, controlling the refinement fire consumed a lot of physical strength. As soon as Han Jingjing's voice fell, Lin Yi suddenly felt that the refinement fire in Han Jingjing's hand quickly became hot, and the temperature of the whole room was raised at this moment. Good. Lin Yi couldn't help but cheer. This Han Jingjing really surprised him. She was actually so talented in the art of alchemy. Ah, brother Lin Yi. Jingjing can't hold it anymore. Jingjing can't hold it anymore. Just after Lin Yi cheered, Han Jingjing's breathing became rapid, and she said weakly. In the end, her voice turned into a moan. Lin Yi suddenly had black lines on his head. He naturally knew what Han Jingjing meant.
Alchemy was a matter that consumed a lot of physical strength, and controlling the refinement fire out of thin air was the same.
Han Jingjing was only an alchemist with the strength of the early stage of the golden class. It was already not bad for her to be able to hold on for so long. So at this time, it was normal that she couldn't hold on anymore. After Han Jingjing finished this sentence, she put away the refinement